Go ahead and start this video. There we go. Greg. Yeah. Why is AI meeting notes there? You can read that?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Call the meeting to order on December 16th, or the week before Christmas. What happened this month? On December 16th, 2025, 5 p.m. Call to order.
I will conduct the roll. Bob Tusin.
Here.
David Hume. Currently present. Greg Felak.
Zoom?
Remote.
Yes, he's on mute, but yeah, I'm sure.
I'm on my way. I'll be there in about 5 minutes, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Hart.
Listen.
Jack McLaughlin.
Here. Thank you. We stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chairman.
Yes.
Before you make a motion to approve the agenda, is there any way we can get district manager moved up?
Yeah, where do you want it to be moved? Just like first?
Yeah, we could do at the top of staff reports, if that's okay.
Yeah, I don't have any to do it thing. All right, so motion to approve the agenda with moving the district manager to the first. Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Audience comments. No comments?
Is this non-agenda item?
You were correct. I wanted to, I wasn't gonna let you go without stepping up. Right? So, yes, please. Just state your name and address.
Yes, hello, members of council. My name is Patrick Burgess. I live at 911 Towhee Court, Celebration, Florida.
Okay.
But I'm here about a different property. I'm here about 411 Camella Street.
Okay.
I represent the owner as the property manager for that property. And on December 10th, I contacted the CDD about some limbs that had fallen from the tree. There's two large oak trees in that front yard. And some limbs had fallen approximately 3 to 4 feet long. I had photographs of those. And they fell right where cars would have been parked. And that night we had had some rain, but not high wind. That's my recollection. Someone else remembers differently, but I don't remember any high wind. But I'm happy to pass the pictures around or however I do that so they can see. So I did contact, you have some.
You want to,
I'm not sure.
have the board too. Look, I've already seen these.
So I emailed and then asked that I be contacted by phone so I could meet a representative there. I wasn't contacted. I got an email saying that the complaint had been filed or the concern had been filed. And then shortly after that, I got another email saying that it was small branches and there was no concern that it had been canceled. So I was very clear when I called in, please contact me so I could meet the representative there.
Right.
So then on the next day or the day after, I came up and met with Mr. Simmons here about this. And he again expressed these were small limbs and of no concern. Had I been able to meet with him on the property, I would have pointed out that the tree is filled with dead limbs and that the limb that fell also had large, almost insect type holes bored into it. I believe the tree is a risk, a high risk to pedestrians, to cars, and perhaps a certified arborist needs to take a look at this. And at the very least, these dead limbs need to be taken out of this tree.
Are they limbs or twigs?
Limbs, I had pictures of these limbs that were not included in what Mr.
The ones
said.
that just the ones I looked at the pictures, the ones that fell, they're more twig. I get the.
I would not
Maybe
characterize a 4 foot long, 2-inch thing as a twig,
Okay.
at least 2-inch diameter.
Okay.
Perhaps the pictures aren't good that were, but I have them here.
No, I've seen the pictures.
Okay.
And I drove by. Yeah, my tree is very much like that. That's why I
Right.
mentioned that, you know, they did either wind or rain, whatever. It'll happen. So.
These were definitely not twigs.
We do, I have just a quick question. Do we have a list of, because I know every quarter where we talked about having the arborists come out and check trees. Do we have that?
We haven't had to put one on it yet, but we can put that one on.
I'm just thinking we should put that.
Yeah.
For the next quarter to go ahead
Yeah,
and spend,
just to see, that was all I wanted to evaluate.
We've gone back and as a board and said we would implement a certified arborist because it's hard to objectively determine the health of said tree without somebody. So on a quarterly basis, we have somebody come out and earmark potentially problem trees to actually designate what the status is, because we can't make that determination.
Right. I would say the arborist is a sidebar. The more important issue is just come out, anyone, you don't have to be an arborist, to look up at this tree and see how many dead limbs are that are waiting to fall. And the ones that I have picture of here are 5 to 6 feet long. They're clearly dead. They fall if some unlucky person happens to be there.
Have we reviewed the tree?
Yeah. And it's my understanding that we don't cut dead limbs out of trees.
yeah, usually we don't. The only,
It's health and safety.
right, that's where it falls into. So, and then I'd like staff go ahead and determine that, if that is something that we're gonna go ahead and do.
Put it in, and when the quarterly arborist, when we have that on the news, so it's at the first.
No.
411 Camilla Street.
First quarter.
Yeah, I have. We'll look at it.
Alright.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, like, you know, it's one thing if something falls, go, it's normal, but it's like if it's something large enough, then it could be.
Yeah, Russ and I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is, how do I stay plugged into what's going on? Like,
Yeah,
We'll follow up with you.
yeah, we have your information.
all right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Did you have Mr. Syracuse's?
He's on the agenda. He's 7A. I mean, that might be something the board wants to move up if you'd like, so he doesn't have to sit through the whole meeting.
Well, business items, consideration like Reinhardt Electric Boat Rentals proposal. Mr. Syracuse is here, wanted to make a proposal. I'd say that we move that to the top. Motion to move it to the
So
top.
you want to before staff reports?
Yes. Wow,
Before we get to third party representatives.
right.
No
objection.
No objection? None? Okay. Come on up, right?
He submitted his stuff that's in the agenda.
Yes,
He
I-
did a whole proposal on it with a lot of information.
But we're all waiting to sit down. Get situated.
I'll move slower next time.
Dated breath over here. You gonna sit down?
Are you ready, guys? Good evening, board and staff members. My name's Alexander Clericus. I've been a Celebration resident for 16 years. You should have that PDF copy of the business plan proposal, which I'll be referring to in a couple instances. Downtown for me is the undisputed heart of Celebration. We offer lots of amenities, events, and activities. However, as you can see by the photo on the cover of the plan, those boats that we originally rented on Lake Reinhardt disappeared years ago. Tonight, I'm asking for your help to bring back that magic safely, profitably, and with zero risk to the district. If you would turn to page 21 on the pictures, attachment C, that's our lake today. Now picture 10 to 12 attractive boats peacefully enjoying the lake and creating those picturesque memories again. If you turn to the next page, that's an example of the electric boat that I'm proposing. It is a round, small electric boat with a 600-watt or less than 1 horsepower motor. So that's approximately 3 to 5 miles per hour, depending on the weight. They are 100% electric. They produce no noise, no weight, no oil, and no fuel spills. On section 4, page 4, that's our risk our risk management plan. Essentially, we are an independent LLC who would be the operator. We have protocols and training in place at all times, and every customer would sign an agreed upon attorney drafted waiver that's specifically released to the district and names CDD as the additional insurance policy. That way you are fully indemnified. The plan would be to start with 10 to 12 boats with 5-minute interval rentals, all supervised from the existing dock that we already have. We will generate new annual revenue for the district through the lease. Additionally, we increase downtown dwell time, increasing sales for our local businesses and create additional local part-time jobs. This is a proven model already operating on lakes throughout. If the board would prefer, I'm also open to doing a 6-month trial period as well. After Celebration opened, boat rentals were one of our most beloved features. Let's bring them back. Better, greener, and safer for everyone. You guys have any questions? Please just let me know.
Question number one for staff is why did they go away to begin with?
That's my question.
Yeah.
Since.
I
what
came
you said.
way after.
Okay,
Economics reasons, I'm sure.
okay.
I don't know if there was the last
I
one.
don't know if it was problem or legal
No,
issue.
no, the last one
Oh
was
my God, they just, for pretty much 7 to 9 months out of the year, nobody wanted to go on because it was just too hot. That was part of the problem.
Those were open paddle boats too. So the person is actively exercising. This is a canopy. I have additional photos of an example. So they have a canopy, electric motor. So they wouldn't be exerting that much energy sweating in the summer. So making it more of an enjoyable.
Well, you'll sweat in the summer.
Of course, you're in Florida. You always sweat, but like, not as much as paddling a boat though.
Are you thinking of this as a seasonal thing or as a year-round?
I actually thought it would be a year-round thing. Yeah.
Well, I got a lot of questions. You said operating days was going to be 300. How was that derived? Why is it not 365?
Taking away rain days, taking away, depending on what, obviously the schedule would be discussed and approved by the board, but just assuming with rain days and
Okay. And then you said the footprint would be a podium and 2 chairs and an umbrella.
so using the existing dock and then the only additional thing.
What about chargers for the boats?
So there is existing electrical outlets on the dock, and each boat does have its charger. So it would just be an extension cord that goes over.
Ross, how much does that power on the dock? Do you know?
I don't even know if they work.
Right.
Maybe.
Jay, you had a question.
Yeah, my one question is in section 6 about restricted area. Tell me how these are gonna operate. I'll tell you why I'm asking it, because we now have a pretty prominent fountain.
Yeah.
Maybe not right now.
Well,
We will.
It's coming back.
So we have the fountain, and then we have those jets along the side. I don't think boats and those mix.
No.
Okay, how are we gonna keep them apart?
So I was proposing a 10-foot buffer. So they are GPS monitored, and essentially we will have a chase boat as well if somebody needs to go get one. But they are 5-minute intervals, so they will be close to that area. And what we had said was 10 feet from the border, 10 feet from any of the jets or the fountain.
But it's not geo-fenced.
It's not geofenced.
Okay.
What would happen if, because we have pond vendors that go and treat the ponds and stuff, so what would happen during that time?
Typically they come during the day, so we could, make sure we coordinate appropriately.
How are you going to secure these boats so at night when you're not even using them?
Each boat, I already spoke with the manufacturer on that, and they come with an eyelet in order to do a pass-through lock on, and that's what the plan was.
Okay.
And there's also a disabled switch on the inside seat.
And how are you going to retrieve these boats? You said you're going to have a chase vessel. What kind of boat's that going to be?
So it's one of the additional boats.
And that's capable of towing another boat?
Yes, sir.
How are you gonna keep the kids from getting to the boats?
So they're gonna, I was gonna do covers and then having them tied down, so they won't be able to go anywhere because they will be locked down and disabled.
Jan, you had some.
Yeah, I have a couple things, and of course, it's the liability aspect. I doubt our insurer will insure us. So, yes, you'll have liability naming the district, but that's only gonna be as good as that insurance coverage. So it's not a full indemnity as was mentioned. Also, the idea of private benefit of a public property is not something that governments usually want to get in the position of doing. If there are bond funds used and, district funds used to maintain the ponds and the berms and everything else, there's an issue that, bond funds were expended at some point. We're allowing a private use of something that's supposed to be a public facility.
But they found a way around that originally.
That's why I
It
terminated
could have been
earlier.
the Celebration Company did those in the beginning and then stopped when the CDD became alive. I don't know. That was before my time here.
I thought it was the arcade, yeah.
Then what about like Eola? They have boats there. I mean, maybe you know better than I do where the other.
How they RFP those, if they're run by a city vendor, I don't know.
I would definitely appreciate you being here. It'd be a first night type of thing. I would definitely like to understand different public spaces around the area. How are they making it work?
Yeah, and waivers, I will tell you, just in my experience in other districts, and Jan can probably speak to more. The waivers, it's not gonna keep the district from liability. A waiver's not. The old adage, as good as the paper it's written on. So that's not gonna protect you as far as the district unless there's something I don't know, Jan.
No, you're right. A waiver is.
So is that proposed insurance level? I would put that in.
So what I could do, I did not do it initially when he sent it in because I wanted to see direction from the board. I didn't want to raise any red flags with our insurance, but I'm happy to reach out to Aegis and ask them kind of what this would look like. Would they cover it? And are there parameters around it? Yeah, we'll cover it, but you've got to have A, B, and C. I'm happy to do that if the board, I did not want to do it proactively because I didn't want to raise any red flags.
So the only concern I had, is going back to the coverage. You know, when they first did it way back when,
Mhm.
and when they did it last time, which was probably about 10 years ago now, something like that. A lot has changed. So the liability, that is a very, very big risk. $500,000 if the boat flips over and somebody gets trapped or worse, that's way not enough. Way not enough. I mean, because I mean, the small kid or whatever, it's 500,000 isn't going to do it. 1 million, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not the insurance guy.
Yeah.
But that is a very, very big risk. And they will go after the district as well. Well, why wouldn't they? If we allowed it.
And that's the proposed coverage. If there was additional, coverage that was
Sure.
needed, obviously, by all means.
Right.
Would the board like me to reach out to Aegis to get some preliminary information?
Sure.
Or do you want to go in steps? I don't want to jump the gun. You tell me what you want me to
Do
do.
you think there'd be an adverse effect? I mean, are they gonna?
I don't know. I always try not to. We all know how insurance
Yeah.
companies
All
are.
of a sudden they're like.
Hopefully nobody's listening to
very-
this.
That's what I was suggesting if Jan went first and
Yeah, I
figured
mean-
out how's everybody else doing this, and if there's copies of whatever
Yeah.
insurance requirements they have, it might guide the conversation.
Okay. My general thought is just by RFP, the city wants, we want a vendor to do this, and then they put out proposals and accept the best one. But I'll check on that.
Which one did you mention, Dave?
Like Eola.
Like Eola.
Like Eola has,
They have
That's the small boat?
Yeah.
So they're active, yeah.
I'm sure there's other,
there are, yeah.
if you can do a little bit of market research and find
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I can reach out to them and ask kind of what their structure is, how it's set up and all of
Okay.
that, just to get some information.
We'll coordinate.
Alex, in the event of a hurricane, what are you gonna be doing with the boats?
If they cannot be properly secured, then I'd be removing them, obviously, yeah.
How do you remove them from the water? Is that just pulling them up off the dock, or do you trail them from somewhere else?
2-person lift. Yeah, they are inflatable rings with a fiberglass shell. So, yeah.
Well, and usually with hurricanes,
And does each boat have a radio on board?
So there's a emergency kit that I was planning, and it would have a radio, a nighttime light just in case, and a whistle. And obviously we like preserve a life, PDFs for everybody available.
How are you gonna keep them in that zone that you proposed?
Because they would be on each vessel. So it's a little pouch that's gonna be on each vessel.
I'm talking about operating in that zone. It's a very narrow rectangle that I see.
Yeah,
How are you gonna do that?
at first it would be probably having an employee in the water, making sure that nobody passes in was my first thought.
Oh,
So you would be providing all of the employees
Yes, ma'am.
and stuff?
Yes, yes.
Would you want a physical barrier along the top?
Yeah, I didn't think that you guys wanted a
Something.
float. I
no, I don't want to put that in there.
think anybody would, I wouldn't.
Do we have enough cleats along the dock to moor these boats?
We could always add more.
I mean, that's not hard.
Yeah.
I don't know right offhand how many there is.
I'm concerned cleaning, and there's a lot of questions I'd have. The dock, I'd be worried about just for you. People are gonna find entertainment in jumping in the boats off hours and doing stupid things, but I'm also worried about damage to the dock. And then I'm trying to figure out, is there a way to cleat it, like just a concrete wall around the edge? Could you cleat it to the wall and then have your staff find them. I'm not sure how you do that without.
I can manage that. The reason why I was going for these vessels is it's an inflatable ring. So damage to the dock shouldn't even be present because with that inflatable ring, it's a bumper, you know. But yes, if it was best to moor them up along the seawall or the wall on the side, then yes, we could do it.
I don't know if that creates other issues on the wall or anything. But it's just-
Yeah, the wall.
Has there ever been an issue where the inflatable ring has been punctured in the sinks?
No, it's similar to like an
Just wondering, because-
inflatable dinghy, let's call it.
Just sorry, but like at Epcot, the land boats just start, two of them have already sunk the last year.
How old are those? How old are those? They've been around a while.
Yeah.
Could you stick Jack in one and let him float around?
Absolutely.
Why don't you just leave them there and just
Yes, no, hit the kill switch on it and leave them out there.
Yeah, that's.
Let me ask you a question about the area itself, kind of following up on it. I mean, it's. I think it's gonna be unrealistic to expect you're gonna be able to keep people confined to that, so. From a district perspective, are we worried about what happens if people, other than the fountain, go all the way around the lake? And from your perspective, was it so that you can keep visibility of them, or I mean, is there a business reason you wouldn't want to have everybody going around there, or is it just?
Number one, just keeping in mind the lake. Number two, it's 5 minute intervals. So, you know, in 5 minutes, you can't make it there and back. So, you know, that's why we would call them all the radio, just to know they're halfway on their time. They need to head back. But also just to maintain them in eyesight at all times. That's the
What
goal.
if somebody's going out for 20 minutes then?
They could rent longer, and that's the whole key. The key is to keep them. So that's why initially I thought an individual, an employee in a vessel to mark the border. And you know, it would be up to the board what they would prefer. Obviously, if they were on the backside, if that were mapping area were to extend on the backside, but away from everything, I'm okay with that. It's if the board's okay with that. My key thing was keeping them away from the jets, the fountain, and the edge.
So the only issue, and it's not really the issue with your proposal. But it's copycats, because we know when people say, oh, there's boats in the water, right? And somebody brings their raft in and go, hey, we want to go in the water too. And we don't have the after hour staff to enforce that. And as we saw at the last workshop with the sheriff, they don't want to trespass anybody. They don't want, I mean, it's like, oh, that man, you want me to work, man, forget that. So that's a challenge. You know, we've had a few instances where you got people that get their RC boats out and everything else, but you see something like that. There have been a few times where people brought their canoes, kayaks and stuff. Yeah. So I worry about that, because it seems that the people are very prone to do that. I don't know how to restrict it. Again, we don't have an after hour staff for that.
Good.
You know.
What are you proposing? What hours of operation are you thinking of?
Yeah, 11 and 9 was what I was originally thinking. As the board would see fit. You know, weekends, sure. I thought that it would be something even during the week that, you know, someone casually comes in, my staffing would be minimal, you know, in comparison to the weekend. But I would obviously monitor the water as well, because it'd be in my interest not to have anybody entering the water in a canoe as well. So we could help supplement that as well.
So I asked Brenda, because she's
Right.
been here forever. And she said, we had a concession agreement for paddle boats years ago. And their contribution was $2,000. That vendor did not renew the contract because they did not make any money. A second vendor wanted to do the Swan paddle boats. That did not go anywhere either. If someone is interested, we could potentially do it by concession agreement, which is what the board did prior through a concession agreement.
Somebody told me what a concession.
Yeah, I don't know what a concession agreement means unless.
Like,
It's
like
we're
we're
operating a concession.
saying, like a concession
I mean,
stand.
yeah, I don't know what that agreement.
She's trying to locate the previous agreement. to find out.
She can afford that out. It'd be-
Big controversy about it on Facebook years ago, since many people like the pristine pond look. And now that we have a fountain in it, you would imagine the impact boats would have. That's all. But she's pulling the agreement, the original concession agreement. She'll send it out.
Concession ideas are generally like the airport does.
Yeah.
concession. They put out RFPs and then take the best concessions.
So more
More info.
information
Okay.
is needed.
Will fish hooks puncture those?
Well, no,
Well, I'm asking that for a reason.
It's just like the dinghy. So essentially, no, unless if, you know,
Cause that's why our fountain's not working.
There's a legal reason why they
What's the
stopped.
ding?
Essentially what she's saying. Here's
Um,
how they did it.
Yeah.
Let's say 9 o'clock at night.
that's what I was proposing.
Will there be enough light down on the dock down there?
And it does not have to be 9 o'clock at night. They do have navigational lights as well.
They rent, the city of Orlando owns.
For Lake Eola.
Oh, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Mhm.
city owned.
Mark, do you have any concerns? SIFTOD, water management,
On slopes.
anything?
I asked.
I reached out to SIFTOD.
I reached out to SIFTOD today. Now, is there any reason why that you wouldn't allow this or object to it or Southwest Florida Management permit? Right? I didn't get a response. She said she would look at it.
You should look into it.
So it's usually a swimming component that the water management district frowns upon because it is used for water management, treating, and removing chemicals and pollutants. But if you're in a boat,
It's usually don't specify.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are old ones, so I doubt they will, but
I don't know if because it's a water retention thing, if there's strict limitations, you can't even put a boat in there. I don't know.
now we've got vendors that put boats in there to do maintenance.
Yeah, that's purely your discretion
Yeah.
to do that. It's just better getting her the legal criteria, if that's really at y'all's discretion.
All right, let's figure out the insurance and the legal.
And Alex, if you have other examples of ones which are actually commercial and not municipal, that would be.
yeah, because
something
Harmony
they could provide.
CDD owns their own boats and rents them. So,
They,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
know if
you
anybody-
reserve it and they go out onto the lake, but they're battery, same as his. They're not gas or anything, but Harmony owns their boats and the lake that they go on.
How do they run it? Do they have staff?
Yeah, when we had that, we terminated that contract 6 months ago, something like that. We had it for 20-something years, and what they do is they had 5 staff people, like Celebration, but much smaller scale, that went out and did it, and one of them was called a dock master. And he would do classes on how to operate. They were like bass boats, pontoon boats, but they were all battery operated. And it was only till 4 o'clock,
Yes.
I think 7:30 to 4, because that's the only time staff was there.
Hmm.
And they would go out you would book out X amount of time on this boat. They would have it ready when you show up. They
Disney
get you out.
Yeah.
Yep, and they come back and then they put the boat away and that was it.
We'll work on it. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay. Go on to, I believe we have staff reports. Yeah, because we moved district managers. Wait,
Pearl,
huh?
is he representing?
Well, okay, so you want to do third party representative?
Yeah, I would do those first.
Okay, so let's do Croach. Do you have anything?
I mean, I'll answer questions. I'm sitting in this, I don't know if anyone from Crow's passed through these months, so I'm.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
They haven't. You're the first one. Why don't you come up there?
Why not? All right.
See, that was us answering your question.
Yeah.
Let's go the other way around.
Charles Richards, Crow representative. Glad to answer questions. I'm not CDD liaison. I don't think anything germane right now to CDD. It's been relatively quiet, but everybody with questions, I'm glad to answer anything. that
Gary, did we come to final agreement on the whole trees and the map and that's done?
Yes.
That's been done.
That's, no, that was last.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a map.
Yeah.
The memorandum.
I knew the map was a little bit off. I knew we had to adjust something on.
Yeah, there's a couple that.
Yeah, we accepted the memorandum of understanding, I think was the last,
Okay.
after many, many months. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's all.
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun. Russ gave it to me for review and then I posted it and he's like, you didn't look at it. And
It's playing Candy Crush over there.
Sending myself a note. Dave's right. There's a couple, I think, cul-de-sacs or something that are missed. We need to go back and color code.
Okay, so that still needs to be done?
It does.
Send everything?
Yes.
I know there's a lot of anatomy stuff going on with the new design, so I don't know the coordination, if there has been any from the Crow side of anything, or
It's been quiet. I can line the fire.
We don't engage with Crow and
Nothing.
that's separate.
Oh, for Maggie. Okay.
Because I know you guys are working on the pool and everything else.
Yeah, we've got the amenity center.
Yes.
It's open next fall. So we've got some things there, but. Relatively
Yeah,
quiet.
I don't have any, well, the only question I have is I know you've had a few meetings.
Mhm.
With their staff, trying to go over open issues.
Yeah, we have a good relationship with Jacob and Lauren and.
Okay. One thing I have heard in the service areas, there's been a little bit of ping ponging
Yes.
with tickets of things that are put in from service areas that are then ping pong to you all, that are then ping pong back to Pro and ultimately should be with us from the beginning.
Right.
So I would just ask to copy me in on those. It's been really the service areas that have been seeing a lot of the heartburn noise. So, and if that's a training opportunity for our staff, we'll get in front of that.
Yeah, and usually the resident that puts it in isn't aware of where it goes.
Yeah, we don't want to ping pong that stuff. I mean, it's wasted time for you all and it's.
It's mostly sprinklers.
Yes.
It's mostly sprinklers.
Are you serious?
And yes, no, I'm dead serious.
Wow.
Tom never makes jokes.
Yeah.
Because I don't make jokes when it comes to growth.
We're joking.
But I think what it is, staff's like, oh, that's the CCD area. So I'm like, no, I mean, Spring Lake is a prime example.
Yeah, and
It's
so
98% pro, and they're like, oh, I'm like, no.
yeah, and Spring Lake is a service area, so in and of itself, that stuff I would say funneled up to me.
Okay.
So, anything else on?
Charles, one quick question. We were told that Lot B was gonna be turned into 50-wall courts and it's gonna be done immediately. How'd that happen?
So my understanding, I've been a little bit distant from MPAC, is we have an RFP out there. I think we have responses back. So I believe we're doing 4 pickleball courts and a basketball court and then a multi-purpose court. I don't know where we are in that process right now. I know the expenses are running a little bit hot right now with 851 and some other things. So I don't know. I know right now it's a staging area for mulch and
They kind of put that on hold. Lot B's on hold, yeah, because
okay,
that's
that's what
overruns on 851. I know it's surprise.
Yeah.
Construction there's overruns.
Yeah.
But they want to finish probably that because you don't know
That's what I
where
heard.
the overruns stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of change orders and some other things come in with 851. So I think that's.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anything in the near future until they move.
It's also a restroom requirement, which I don't think they initially realized that they had to put restrooms in.
There is a risk. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I can communicate that back if.
Yeah, because our restrooms
Yeah.
aren't open for recreation.
Yeah,
purposes.
Jacob's aware of that. We've had the conversation about connection fees and.
That's why I think holding off is a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I'm not a financial wizard, but I'm just,
Look, I'm just getting it pure impromptu.
I understand. Any other questions?
Terry,
Any other questions for Charles? Oh, sorry. No, I just. Good Lord, man. Tough crap.
I know how I feel. The interaction with their work process. I know you and I talked about it a little bit a couple
Yes.
weeks ago. Is that generally, is that working well? Is there anything particular for CROA on that, or is that?
It would be helpful if we got contact information. I understand Croa can't share that information with us.
Okay.
So Russ and I talked today, kind of on a workaround. Russ actually went and looked at an issue we had already.
So for people who may not have filled out our form, we're trying to get in touch with them of being able to.
So no one has ever filled out the form.
Well, I assume that was the starting point.
Well, explain to Charles what we're talking about.
So this is the additional insured,
Now, crossing
No.
the sidewalks.
this or.
This was our sidewalk policy where
Vendors.
Okay.
Lauren worked us into the ARC process because we've got a deposit that residents have to put in, or
Okay.
property owners have to put in.
Don't we name CDD? Well, I thought that was.
It's not necessarily just for you guys. So if Joe homeowner is gonna bring heavy equipment over the sidewalk, we don't ever get notified. So we've had a policy in place for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
The problem is there's nothing in the approval, because it's not like we're the county where we would go out and say, hey, we're requiring a permit. And to even know that that's happening. The only way we find out is afterwards when the staff says, hey, here's a broken sidewalk, and how did that happen?
So
So
where?
we integrated our form into your ARC process.
Okay.
Yes,
You guys are notifying the homeowner, hey, there's the CDD thing.
they are.
And then that's coming back to them weekly to say, hey, we approved 3 or 4 or 5 ARC things, which look like they may have heavy equipment. Here you go. Good luck talking to the homeowners.
So we have that in smart webs.
that's all built into our, well, I'm not, that's virtual, so I guess, all right, that's there.
However, they're doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's all just forms, covenants and ARC.
Yeah, every Friday I get the report of what's been approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mostly doorbells or is what makes most of it, or
Why
security
is, why
cameras.
isn't this part of their approval process that they have the,
They said
signed
they,
application?
they said at the board meeting, Lauren suggested against it because her analogy was like the county, they don't withhold an ARC approval based on somebody else's external permit process. And they don't want to be beholden to that. I don't know that I agree or disagree, but I understand her logic for it.
The other challenge is when we talk about homeowners, probably a third of them aren't homeowners, they're actually corporations that own the homes.
Mhm.
And so tracking them down is a whole nother thing, right? So that's a challenge.
You want to talk about the CO process? What we talked
Yeah,
about
then,
today?
you know, if they do, for instance, in Northville, someone's doing a pool. And they've damaged like 3 panels of sidewalk, they're not even nowhere near completed on it, I went to talk to the homeowner today. But if they pull a permit through the county for that pool, which I'm sure they're doing,
They have,
Jasmine has to sign off. She's the last person
Really?
to sign off on the CO.
yeah.
If it doesn't get signed off, they don't get the permit.
Mm-mm. That's the same for all the
Yeah,
construction,
Yep.
any apartments or anything, we're the
Is that-
ones. signing up.
Is that on any permit for anything in a residence?
Theoretically should be for any permit for and celebration.
Yeah, it's supposed to be within celebration.
build an
A
extension.
lot of them doesn't apply to us, but
Right.
some do.
Right.
So I built an extension, I got approval, I just got final approval for the garage, another 2.5 car garage, so I'm gonna have to, as a final, get a sign off from CCD crossing that side.
We'll deny yours, don't worry about it. No, it seems like that probably doesn't even pertain to us.
Yeah, it's
If
only
you're
stuff
not,
that would pertain to us.
if you're not even going over the sidewalk or possibly could damage the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had some truck going
Yeah, yeah,
across the
truck.
sidewalk, yeah.
But the problem is a lot of the times, as I understand it, we're getting damage of things which necessarily wouldn't require a permit from the county. Hey, if they're gonna go,
Correct.
if they're gonna go paint the side of a 3-story townhouse,
Yeah.
nobody's pulling permits for that.
Yeah, hospital, when they dug out all that stuff, they crossed the sidewalk and they damaged.
Just want to make sure you're getting what you need from that report with, okay.
Yeah.
If we can find a way to be able to get the contact information was what I heard at the beginning.
That's all in smart webs, we should be able, I mean, that's.
It's nothing that's illegal.
Yeah, well, usually,
It's private.
yeah, in the HOA, unless you're an owner,
It's public records technically. I mean,
it's public record
name and address.
for the HOA. And if you're a member of the HOA, you know, you can request it.
It's public
But
record,
I
we
can't,
know
for
what we're
example, be
looking
a member of the HOA requested and use it for a different purpose. See, so I can't do that, right? That's not.
Can
what
we, for those particular instances, ask that CROA staff contact the owner and copy us on email?
Or could the board make a resolution? Could we, is there something that we can do from our side to facilitate that without violating any?
I think it would be
Question for my-
what you just said.
Yeah, and
Having Lauren reach out to the homeowner and say, hey, you need to get with the district and maybe copy us in on it. That would probably be the best way because you guys are private, so you can't release that information to us and go, hey, here's the homeowner's name, number, you know, all of that.
But you're not releasing it. You're simply notifying the homeowner and copying us.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be the way to get around it.
All right, so I'll be for the line to do that.
Lauren? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the board directs her to do that, then that's a different story. But she wasn't comfortable doing that, I don't think.
I'll progress that to Lauren, and our council and think of.
Well, and I kind of did it. It's, if she called me and asked me to do something for the HOA, can you go on? And I'm, yeah, it's really not my job. So I
Yeah.
kind of understand for.
Yeah. For sure.
The property search, and there was one that the sidewalk was damaged, and I looked it up.
Mhm.
It's a corporation out of Connecticut owns the house, so. What would you contact? I just go knock on the door, I guess, so.
No, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. It was just teasing. Deep down I wasn't, but in general I was.
Cross it off the agenda now that I get this.
Sheriff, I don't think we have any. Sheriff, the sheriff's not.
I mean, we had to do else from the meeting.
Yes.
Should we get any reports or clarity on received the blotter and the breakdown, and was there a timeline to turn that?
It was immediately is what the request was, the day after our meeting. I haven't received anything. I have the email from the district council asking, what are we looking to enforce? Because she defines most of that as our issues are civil and they don't get involved in the civil issues.
That's interesting. I wrote and requested, we talked about the trespass issue and I have not heard back yet.
Yeah, the sheriff referenced HOA, what they can do for trespassing, and I'm like,
That's,
we're not an HOA. And he goes, I'll have to look into that.
But
And I'm like, okay.
I did talk to a county person and they indicated they have a lot of trouble with people hanging out in public buildings and they can't get enforcement from the sheriff either.
That I understand.
That
That kind of
along with
jives.
what the sheriff said. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said they're having a lot of trouble with buildings and hanging out in covered areas and stuff.
And coming back to follow throughs, it would be nice that as a result of that X number of 2 hours for the workshop, there would be a defined, all right, by when, by who thing. So there's a laundry list of 5 things and
Oh,
the timeline would be to turn them around.
you know, unfortunately, every year we talk to the sheriff,
It's the same story.
it's, you know, I knew in the first 5 minutes, I'm like,
I went to his follow-up was immediate. I got responses the next day. Carlton Hamilton is their assistant general counsel. He asked questions. But Guevara said, send this information immediately.
And that's specific on the trespassing piece, correct?
That was the blotter and some of the other stuff that we had requested.
Because the e-bike thing, and I know we went in circles for a bit on that, but I think there was still a due out there of,
I threw that into my email because it's the same attorney who helped draft the Orange County Lake thing that wasn't really Orange County Lake. So I asked him about that at the bottom and did not. I haven't gotten a response yet, but
His specific request is, what are you looking for? Trespassing? Was there anything else that? It's looking for a workaround on how to make that
go away.
work for us.
I did see increased presence and I did see 2 vehicles with their lights on. It kind of like, what is that light coming at me? And I was like, oh, look at that. They're rolling through town with their lights on. So for what it's worth.
yeah, but the one safety thing, Greg, I agree with. It's just kind of like there are actually laws for helmets, there are actually laws for speed, everything else, and they're just ignoring it. And I'm like, okay, you know, it's frustrating.
Well, and I was, we went through a list of what I was frustrated about in the conversation, but anyway.
I know, no, I get it. So
Carrie, you said that you got a response when Jasmine asked about a particular stop sign getting run,
It
right?
was immediate. Yeah, we had a resident come in and said they were running a stop sign downtown. Jasmine reached out to the scheduling coordinator and they were there that night.
Right.
And then he did a report the next day and said, you're right, every other car runs stop sign.
So that was with the detail or the non?
That was detail. We scheduled the detail to go there that day.
Anybody get cited for that or they just watch the cars go by?
yeah, the right.
Yeah, see,
4 chickens, 4 chickens.
yeah. And he said most of them were not residents, they were tourists.
Yeah.
Just blowing stop signs.
Not you, Jay. So you're good. Okay, anything else? Third party representatives, moving on to staff reports, district manager.
You want to do mine or do you want to let Joel and Alex do theirs?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Evening, everybody. So far, we are starting the missing plant in each village project. Today we started the downtown one. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll finish that and then move towards East Lawn. I think Russ and I still have North Village or Island Village to go through.
Just Island Village.
Yep, and then we'll be done with all the villages. So, right now, what we're working on is conservation cutbacks. So the back property line of everybody's property easement, we're regaining CDD territory because a lot of that stuff has come through on the summer. So we've made a pretty aggressive cutback. A lot of the feedback we're getting from residents is really positive. This week, we're spot cutting. I had plans to cut this week, but with the cooler weather, it's not really growing aggressive. So we're cutting some ponds, some areas we're hard edging this week. And then, we'll do a cut, next week. The seasonal, grasses throughout the community have all been completed. We cut those back and allocated some of their clippings to open beds. Poinsettias look great. They're doing really well. It's a good pop. And right now we're still cleaning up leaves. This is gonna be our project for the next 3 months.
Well, I agree, because the temperature gets cold and warm or cold and warm, the trees are just, they're just doing that, and it's.
Water Street is a mess, so we have competing vendors that tend to blow some stuff on our sides, which we've been politely saying, hey, don't do that. But that's our main priority, is just getting those big leaves up.
Any questions? Yeah, I appreciate the going village by village, trying to scope that out. Because that's really kept us in budget for what we're doing. And so thank you, Gary, sorry, Russ, for going through all that. That's a lot to look at. All right, thank you.
Great. Good.
Thank you.
Remind me, were they doing the tree replacements or that's somebody else? Over
They're replacing the trees, but not removing the trees.
so we haven't removed the trees.
Yeah, we cut down probably
Oh, God.
12 of them right now.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in short, what's the step for that Jeter Crescent area, right?
Oh,
That
we're getting the one tree installed first, and then we're gonna talk to the homeowners. Say, this is what we wanna do.
The Bradford pear trees, I cannot source them.
inviting comments that we don't want.
I thought
He said just, I would.
we were told to talk to the homeowners.
No. To notify them that, hey,
we notify that's what we're doing,
Yeah.
and then do them all.
Yeah, and then.
Okay.
Because if you have one homeowner that goes ahead and says, oh, I don't want you to change that, well, now it's true, because now you've got different trees.
An element, correct?
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
We'll get all those, I think it was 9 of them.
9 of them.
One of them, I think.
Yeah, so.
But we'll get them replaced.
and it's a big deal when they all look.
With the proactive stance of why you made that selection, so that there's a narrative, and there was intention behind why we made the choice, so that it's clear to the homeowner you're doing your best.
Let's talk to them, huh? Kurt, you know what?
Is that just like a 1 month that we're gonna have this done by next meeting or it's gonna take a while?
Shouldn't take. Pardon me, Tom?
And they're in stock, right? They're local.
Elm trees, yeah. Bradford pear, I have to source them from North Carolina.
Right, we know about that.
It's been a whole order.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we want to do that.
Knock it down and put the elms in and elect the residents. I can't wait.
Cool. Thank
Hold
you.
off on that one, we'll do them all at once.
I can do them all at once.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody from Premier Lakes?
Alex.
Alex, there you are.
Good evening, Alex Kurth, Premier Lakes. So during my inspection this month, overall, the lakes were in excellent shape, very minimal algae. We had reports with LV6 and LV7 having pretty consistent plankton blooms. On my inspection, LV6 was actually really clear. We had treated it the day before, so it looks like our treatment was very successful. LV7 was also treated, but it still had some planktonic algae, so we're staying on top of that and monitoring it. And if we need to, we're going to get the boat out there to do a whole lake treatment to make sure that maybe we're not getting as good results as we would like, because that plankton is just too far out to reach from shore and it's just settling back in. So we're monitoring that one, but overall, it didn't look too bad either. There was only a small 2 or 3 foot band around the pond. A lot of the ponds, as the landscaper just mentioned, does have the appearance of a lot of floating debris, but there's a lot of leaf material, just like the landscaper that just spoke about, that's making its way into the ponds and, getting the appearance of algae from a distance, but when you get up, it's just leaves floating around. So just want to make the board aware of that. That's probably something that we're going to look at for the next couple months, just the leaves coming in and out. Overall, there's really no submerged weed vegetation issues that I have any concern with right now, and shoreline weeds are very minimal. So overall, we're in really good shape on the lake side. To discuss the fountain in Lake Reinhard, unfortunately, right now I don't have an update. I'm hoping within the next week or two I'll be able to get some information back to district staff. Unfortunately, I'm at the mercy of the manufacturer doing their assessment of the motor to find out if there's anything wrong with it, and assuming there is, should be taken care of under warranty, so there shouldn't be any cost to that. As far as the fountain wire goes, I did submit a proposal to Carrie this evening. Unfortunately, I don't have as good of news there. With it being pierced by a fishing line, unfortunately, it's just simply put not going to be covered by manufacturer's warranty. The cost to repair that is just short of $2,600. I do want to be transparent with the district. I am quoting the manufacturer's wire because that will maintain your fountain warranty, which is 5 years for that fountain. There's cheaper options by going to third-party wire vendors, but you're going to void your warranty for the entire fountain if you do that. So I do recommend. So your $2,600 for their cable, you'd probably be roughly half. So figure, each savings of $1,300. But in perspective, right? Your motor, if it goes out in that 5 years, your motor is $5,000.
Is that a wire that's encased with conduit, or is that the same one we had before and it's just gonna get hit again?
It's the same one. We have not replaced it yet. We're just now providing the proposal because we wanted to try and touch base with the manufacturer, see if they might cover it. They would not. So we're recommending the replacement now based on that price. So it typically is put out, just a free bare wire that it's weighted, obviously with a lot of copper. So it does sink to the bottom. I did speak with my financial manager about the conduit idea. He's done it before, but he wanted to put a word of caution in that it does long-term create some maintenance and repair issues because it does have increased costs down the road if we do need to do repairs or pull the fountain for a heavier maintenance. It just takes more essentially labor to move the fountain around with that conduit there, or if the wire does need to be pulled in or out, it does create extra time and labor. But it can be done if we want to. The other point he made is that he's pulled probably thousands of lures off of fountain wires. This is only the second one that he's ever seen pierce the actual wire. So, unfortunately, consider yourself unlucky there. But usually it's just a matter, it gets hung up and it doesn't, actually pierce the wire and cause any damage.
Glad to be the lucky one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where is it most vulnerable? Is it the entire length of wire, or are we just talking certain areas that are vulnerable?
Depends on how they're fishing.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's bare the entire distance. It goes into a conduit, but only right at shore where it goes into the electrical panel.
Right.
So we do that and put it in conduit, it's super cheap. I mean, it's not that.
The
big a
price of
deal.
conduit's nothing compared to what we're talking about now.
Yeah, and the time delay and the fact it's down for 2 months. So I'd still put it in conduit.
Yeah, but we don't have a price for conduit. We just have a price for the.
It's like,
Conduit, I mean,
it's a.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be minimal extra cost. I mean, I if you guys approve the $2,600, I just charge you the materials on that. Like Russ said, it's probably $100.
I would do that. I definitely would do that. So we agree to just move forward with them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Need to get the cable building business. Aaron.
Yeah.
Special cable. He's all right.
No, I know, but I just want to make sure we're in agreement to do the conduit.
Yeah, do we have enough to go? Look, I don't want to be hold up for this. Do we?
Yeah. What else?
Vote on something now? Or?
no.
No,
So that's.
we don't have to vote on that.
Budget.
Okay, good.
Susan Bowen said that she wanted to pay for another pump. Another,
She and Alex have had a conversation about that.
You mean have a spare?
Nice.
yeah, to have it as a backup to swap it out.
That's nice.
And so she goes, no, I'll cover that, because it doesn't make sense if it's just one and you have to wait for the manufacturer or whatever. You could swap it out and then send it off.
Yeah.
That would make.
In this case, that wouldn't help because it's not the motor that's the issue.
Correct. Correct, but eventually it will
Yeah.
be, right? It's just-
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, to that point, I did have a conversation with Susan, and I'm going to give her the information on what that motor would cost. Because she asked me, what the cost of that would be. I told her it's, likely $5,000 to $7,000, and she was thinking that I was quoting high. So I don't know that that's something she's actually going to want to do given that price. I also, your fountain does have a 5-month warranty, or I'm sorry, 5 year warranty. So, The one thing that if you do purchase another motor, you are starting the clock on that warranty as well. So just be aware of that. You know, your spare would be.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
Sitting in the closet
So we'll-
for 3 years.
Yeah, and then losing that warranty. All right,
Okay.
so we'll figure it out. Clark?
Nope.
Nobody from Clark.
Thank
Okay.
you, Alex.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Too. Now can we go to the district manager?
Sure. I have a couple things. Obviously, Carrie has a couple of things. I'll just start at the top, the bond stuff. The bond documents that are in here are the same ones that were requested before. Obviously, the rate isn't updated. It could be less than 7%, more than 7%. I'm not sure at this moment. Essentially, the table that we provided and the pages after that essentially tell you what the breakdown is and what the assessments were to the residents, which is essentially what the question was when it was first brought up. Jack did offer this sheet that's in front of you. He broke it down a little bit further. And obviously there is a cost to issuing bonds, which is why they don't like to issue bonds less than usually about 2 million.
Yeah.
Because it's about three.
I think 3 million's getting
Yeah.
now.
It's like 300,000 to 500,000 depending when you issue bonds of fees and all of that stuff. So, so that's the part on bonds. Are there any questions? We went over before too. I know some of the questions were, well, what can we bond? And all of that. We did reach out to bond counsel before, and I came back and let you all know, you have to figure out what you want to bond. It has to be done through an engineering report, and then bond counsel would look at that and say, yep, no, yep, no, yes.
And they look at the useful life, basically. It's
Mhm.
gotta be, it can't just be a repair, it's gotta be.
Right.
Well,
20-year useful life.
I wanted to look at, if you look at that page I gave you, in the top goal,
This way.
that's the amount of money that
It's in
you're
front
gonna
of you.
borrow. Get on the bond. The next bold thing under there is the actual amount of money that you're gonna realize. Like for $1 million bond, you're only gonna get 499,000 usable amount of money. Is how much we're gonna pay back. Which is just ridiculous, the amount we have to pay back. If you're looking at a $5 million bond, 30 years, you're gonna pay back $12 million, over 12, almost $13 million. That's just absolutely insane.
It's
And
not-
you're only gonna get the use of $3.8 million for the construction fund.
Well, like you said, we're not interested in $1 million. Does it make sense?
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm looking at $5 million. It's just a ridiculous amount of money to borrow. That's when you're really poor. You have nothing, no other way to get money. So I just think bonds are totally ridiculous to look at.
Well, I wanted to put it back on there in case it gives you guys additional information. Obviously, if you want bond counsel to be definitive, you have to come up with whatever you want to bond and then get the engineer to do an engineering report. And he'll do useful life and all that. I'm sure Mark knows what it would all entail. And then bond counsel would review that and come back and tell you, yeah, you can issue bonds for A, B, and C, or this one doesn't qualify, however that looks. So
And
that
just a note, we have to engage bond counsel. because
Yes.
If you remember, we
Tried to engage
bond
them.
counsel for the civic and then didn't after they did kind of a lot of work, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
probably need to make sure we look at a
That's
couple
where we
bond
do it,
counsel.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
have somebody lined up for that.
And then the second part, which Greg brought up at the last meeting, which was some information on loans versus lines of credit. So I called Valley, which not only does Infomark have a lot of districts there, so you get good rates, but you also bank there, the district itself.
Right.
So Bill McDonald was gracious enough to give me this information, which I put it in red or his responses. A loan would have a fixed term based on the board request, and an LOC would be 3 years as a revolving credit line. We would need to know what line you guys would want to be interested in for him to actually draw it. Typically, a term loan would be used for projects. LOC would be used for more maintenance operating. And then he attached the table scheduled based on a $2 million loan. Based on looking at the district's financials, he believes you would have no problem qualifying for a $2 million loan. They can be approved provided the CDD passes all other criteria, which you are. You're in good credit standing. You have assessments. Your assessments would not be collateral on this loan. I knew that, but Jan and I talked, we wanted to make sure we confirmed it, which I did. And I sent that out to you all yesterday or the day before, where Bill McDonald said, no, there's no collateral for this loan. It would be the district signing a note. And then it would be up to us, meaning the district and staff, to make sure we had it in your operating and maintenance budget for the May and November payments for interest and principal. So we would make sure that we included that in your assessments, because we would put a line in the budget, principal and interest. So that's kind of what it looks like. Typically, it would be a 5-year. I think it's a 5-year.
Usually 3 to 5.
3 to 5 years, depending on line of credit versus loan. And then obviously with lines of credit, it's a revolving credit line. You could keep utilizing that line of credit, however you see fit, paying it off, utilizing it, only using a portion of it, whatever that feels, right? The loan for 2 million, if you look at the celebration, the schedule that he provided, that's based off of today's annual interest rate. I mean, that could change anytime, but you're looking for a $2 million loan. Basically, you're going to pay total interest of 298 grand, basically, in interest over the 60 payments would be that. And then it would be a 5-year loan, and your monthly payment would be, just over 38,000.
But you could pay that up any time you want to.
Correct. Yeah. You could do that, and there's no penalties for that. And then he breaks down basically what your payment dates and all of this would be. To get more definitive and granular, if the board said, we are interested in doing a loan, he can draw all that up. He actually will attend the meeting if you all have individual questions for him. Loan versus line of credit is pretty self-explanatory. But again, if you want to get granular and that's something that you definitely want to move forward with, he's absolutely 100% willing to either get on the call or provide whatever information you all want.
And I wasn't thinking of it from a line of credit perspective. I was thinking of it from a loan, because
Yeah.
maintenance and operating, we've generally got covered, and we should have covered. We shouldn't be borrowing to do that. It'd be
Yeah.
for capital initiatives.
Right.
It might be helpful to look at the annual payment versus assessments. What kind of increase in assessments?
Right.
An idea over the 5 years, how
Did
much?
they give you some kind of indicator to what the maximum amount was based on financials? As far as, hey, is it $4 million?
Well, and that's what he put, just glancing at where you are financially and all of that, he's looking at 2 million, but we could absolutely ask him 3 or 4 or 5 million and see what that looks like. And I can also put together, and I can send this out tomorrow with the meeting summary that Carrie will put together, is that chart that we did on the assessment table. There's an analysis at the bottom of the box on the assessment tab. And if I put in,
400 a year payment, what if
$5 million, what does that look like? If we raise it, like she said, 400,000, then it'll tell me what the assessments would look like. So I can kind of give you guys a snapshot of that, depending on how much you're wanting to do. And we can play with it. We can do every amount.
Do you expect that higher number would at some point hit a tipping point where they want to have collateral, supposed to not?
Not with loans, because obviously with districts, it's a little different. They know that
we have assessment.
You have
powers, so we have
assessments.
to be able to.
Yeah. So they're not going to say, oh, you have to put up collateral or anything. They know that you're going to assess and collect those funds to be able to pay the payment. So there is no collateral or anything like that. It is a shorter term, obviously, right, than say a bond or anything else. You're looking at 3 to 5 years, depending on the way you go.
So this is actually very, very good information, because there have been situations in the CCD and the 2004 storm, which are very, very good example. They were able to go ahead and restructure the bonds, but let's say that opportunity. That's something where you'd have like an immediate hit, and it would be so significant that at least there's an avenue for something like that. I don't think anybody says, and I don't know what he says, let's take a loan. But I think it's
knowing that you have
it's
accessibility to it.
well,
Yeah.
if we this is the information that we know now, and so we know that could be in the works if a situation works.
The other good part about it, I mean, if you look at the good part about it, if you take a loan and say you do 2 million, you do your project that you want, that's already baked into your budget now. So right after 5 years, you're not going to give, you could, but you wouldn't want to give a decrease back to the residents. So now you already have that built in and say you're not going to renew the loan. You're done, right? So that amount's already baked into your budget. Now you've already gained your reserves by X amount right out of the gate every year, because that 400,000 or whatever, they already are paying that. So then you now can transfer that. So it builds your reserve a little bit quicker.
Funded out of the gate, but yes.
Right.
Yes.
It was $297,000 to do it.
I'm sorry.
The only problem is it costs us $297,000 to do it.
Yes.
I think it depends on the situation the district is in, like if the district.
If you absolutely need it.
Correct. I think that's what it is. 'Cause I don't think it's, after we're done paying this off, let's get another one. I don't think that's the point. The point
There's
is.
alternatives for you.
Correct.
What's the flash to bang time? So I would be looking at this during the budget season. If we start figuring out, I mean, obviously we don't need to go through the engineering studies like a bond, but what are the other tripwires we need to get through in order to be able to do this?
Alone?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
What we would essentially do, your timing is exactly right. You wanted to go down the loan route. Our first budget workshop is in February. That's where I would suggest you start talking about it, because what we want to do is get the numbers. Maybe you don't pull the trigger on getting the loan, but if it is something you're thinking about, we want to get it into the budget cycle, because we're going to have to make sure we're putting in the principal amount and the loan payment in your budget, an actual line item. So we want Valley to give us those numbers before the May approval of your tentative budget. That's what would be my recommendation to you.
And you're probably looking 2 to 3 months from actually applying to closing.
Yeah, we
You
just
have
did
to
a couple
apply
of,
and,
of
you know,
uh,
go to committee and get it.
lines of credit and loans. There was a couple of districts in Hillsborough that did that. And again, one of them was super fast. They took 500,000, so it was very small, and it closed in like 35 days, something like that. And then we did a bigger one, and it was about 60 days.
Yeah, usually you figure 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
so you can get to committee or
So
whatever.
you need to make sure I heard that right. You would need a decision roughly from us on May timeframe if we were intending to get it into a budget cycle. Is that?
Yeah, I would, for you all, if you're gonna make that decision, for us to physically put it into the budget, because we have to approve our tentative budget at your May meeting, which is, remember, the high water mark, right? You can always drop it back down before our final budget. So I would recommend like April. Or
Yeah,
one of the workshops where.
We're making a decision by
Yeah,
April. So
you.
we can-
And then I can take it to Bill and go, you give me some final numbers, we want to put it in the budget. And then if you all decide you don't want to pull the trigger, we can always drop that money back out of the budget for your final approval that we'll do in July. That would be the time frame if you want to get this done.
I'd be interested in knowing what is the purpose of this loan?
Well, yeah,
are we using?
you all would need to decide what the
I
purpose
think,
is.
I think if we look at the budget stuff, if, if certain things happen or don't happen, maybe that's something to consider, but I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm still thinking of all the capital stuff that we identified in last budget season, which is all nothing but repairs and isn't doing anything new. It's just repairing the stuff that we got.
And Greg, for a moment, we still don't have those other commitments, and until that is set, we are
Right.
in a significant shortfall. So we better come up with a belt and suspenders approach. So from that respect, I'm
If enterprise comes out of the.
But if it doesn't,
That's
yeah,
great.
well, then great. I think we have a
And
very
the
short
other thing
conversation.
too is, when you start. Never mind. Yep, that's the timeline. Timeline, yeah. Okay, so any other questions about that? Again, it takes that long for Bill to get back to me, so that's not something that you would have to wait on. The only information I need to give him is look into Celebration. He has financials and all of that. And do you want an LOC, information on LOC or a loan, and what amount? And then he can put everything together. So it's not a whole lot of time on his part to be able to provide that information. So there's that.
Sorry, last thing, you mentioned 3 to 5 year terms on loans, but obviously the more you take, the more interest you're gonna pay. Is it typical that you can go longer on those, or is 5 kind of a cap?
5's usually the cap.
Okay.
Lines of credit are usually a little bit shorter. But loans are typically about 5, unless, have you seen them longer?
No.
Usually it's
they're
about
usually
60
short terms,
months.
they're
Yeah.
unsecured, so you don't get usually a long term without some security.
You did mention the lines of credit have an additional cost for origination fees.
Yeah, lines of credit, it's different because it's a revolving credit line where you can use it or not, but the funds are held there for you if you want to use it. So if we want definitive information on that, I'm happy to get that as well. Just you all let me know what you want me to get, the timeline you want me to get it. If you want to wait until, like I said, our first budget workshop, I believe is February.
I think so.
I think February is our first starting out the gate budget workshop. So if we want, you want to think about it towards then.
I'm trying to think of the line of credit thing to comment about that being more applicable towards the operations and maintenance, which isn't our gap, right? I mean, we've got our
Yeah,
own
there's more
cover.
capital. We need $2 million for this project.
But is there either, no, it's not legal, but is there financial reason we wouldn't want to use a line of credit for a capital? I'm just, I don't know if the numbers would be.
No, what he's saying is usually lines of credit are used for short-term projects, right? Like
if you don't have enough cash to meet.
to get through to the next fiscal year.
Might be a little higher than the credential.
Yeah. Like, I guess a good example in this arena would be if this district was new and you didn't have 3 months of operating reserves to get you until your tax money comes in, we could do a line of credit or what they call a bridge loan kind of thing and get you those 3 months of funds so you can continue to pay the bills, keep the lights on until you start getting your tax revenue in.
Yeah.
So that's what they look at a line of credit for. It's just a very short-term thing. And that's why they look, but there's no reality for you not to use either one for what you're wanting.
So here's a wild question. How many loans can you have? And here's my,
I'll give you.
well,
So there's
no, but for my
That sounds like the casino manager over here.
And he's not wrong. So that is the right answer. As many as you want to apply for.
So I asked this question because there's a balance here, because it's one of those things where we kind of talked about, if we really, really needed to, there was something really serious that we had to go and spend it on. And then, let's say there's not that, it's just projects you want to go ahead and do, and then something happens.
And then the hurricane hits.
Right, and then we need to get another loan.
Yes.
I always got to think of the feedback. People are like, okay, so how many loans would the CCD actually need to take? Because they seem to not have enough money,
Yeah.
right? And so there's another effect.
The short answer is,
What is the balance scorecard to say, what should our reserve ratio be? That's the end.
Right.
It has nothing to do about how much money we, it's the reserve ratio and holding to that prudent standard, and we're not doing that, so.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
the thing
And the
is, that
bank is
if you,
also going to look at how much you're raising assessments,
that's right.
So
correct.
a couple of $1 million, fine, but if you need another couple of million, like, whoa, they raised it 20% this year, there's so much.
Right. And yes, I agree about the reserves, but you're taking a liability, use reserves, and it just seems to be, for me, counterbalance.
Yeah, so the short
So
answer
that's-
doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means the short answer is as many as you would like to.
Okay, yeah.
Because, there will be a point, yes, to Jan's point, there will be a point where they'll be like, no, we're not loaning you any more money. We've loaned you
Residents. may-
2 million loans, like,
Correct, absolutely. There's that.
but I.
And errors, don't forget the errors.
Have a district in Hillsborough. It's not our district. A friend of mine lives there. They've taken out 3 loans and 1 line of credit because the storm really almost decimated their entire community and they did not have any reserves. So they did a storm cleanup and then they had to get money and then do this. So they took out multiple. They were small, but still they add up. But yeah. Okay. Anything else, or what's the takeaway from here? Is there any directive that you would like us to do?
My biggest thing was the process as we're going through the budgeting cycle, knowing the lead time you guys need and the steps in order to make that happen if we decided to go down that route. So if it's truly that short of a fuse, then
And if we get some more information back at the end of January, which we'll
Yeah.
discuss, then February is probably the timeline.
Yep.
and we can still build Jack statue.
That's right.
I'll notify the bigger pigeons. I'll notify the pigeons.
Yeah. So that was the bond and stuff. And again, I will bring it back up at our first workshop to see whatever the temperature is, and I can get whatever information is needed.
Yeah.
So the second thing we want to talk about is the structure of the way that we run celebration and get any input or whatever is needed. So back in November and in December, it was announced that Carrie was the point of contact and he was going to be the district manager. I'm here to support Russ, obviously, and Carrie. And I guess we did not do a really good job of laying that structure out. So that's what I want to do this evening and make sure that we're all clear with a path moving forward. So Carrie, as you know, came from Reedy Creek. One of the reasons we hired him initially, he can speak to this, but we hired him initially at some point to take over Celebration. Both because he comes from the facility world, he's also a certified district manager. So the point of hiring Carrie, which took a little bit for us to get him, we kept calling, and he did decide to do this. And part of that was to take over Celebration. I had been doing it since Gary left and retired. And then the deal was for Carrie to do it and for us to work side by side until everybody was comfortable, and then it's all Carrie. Carrie, in the beginning, when he was starting here, he was doing other things, like going out to other communities that we have, checking on projects or things like that. When did that stop? The end of last year?
May last year.
So May of last year, that stopped. It was 100% dedicated to Celebration here every day. Some of you weren't on the board when I started. I think Greg was shortly after. Part of the condition.
Your first meeting was my first.
Okay, so part of the condition as we got into, I don't know, Greg, it was maybe the second, third, fourth meeting, whatever it was. I was not going to do this. And then part of the condition was, oh no, you can work from Tampa. You don't have to come to Celebration. I didn't necessarily agree with that because I felt like I needed to be here with the people, right? So for the next 3 years, I think it's 3 years, I was here Monday through Thursday. At a bare minimum, 3 to 4 days a week here, living here. I had an apartment in town. When I wasn't in an apartment, I stayed in a hotel. So I was here every day on site because I felt like that's what was needed with a community this size. Then when Carrie started, he's here every day, and I stopped coming here every single day. From the perspective of what gets done, there's a lot of moving parts. I'll give you an example. The other day, Carrie was in how many hours of deposition?
3.5.
So if he's in a 3.5 hour deposition, I know that, some things may come in. I'm dealing with Jan because he's not available. So it's kind of like a divide and conquer approach, is what we've been doing. So clearly there needs to be some delineation in what those lines are. So Carrie is your district manager. He's here every day. He runs this office just like I used to when I was here every day. When I stopped coming 3 to 4 days a week, I turned all that over to Carrie. He runs this entire office from the front ladies to the back. He runs it all. I support Carrie when it comes to if I need to jump on something with him and Jan, but he also deals with stuff with just Jan. Mark, he deals with Mark. I don't really have many things doing with Mark. It's Madame, stuff like that. Carrie pretty much deals all of that. The only thing I pretty much will jump in on is if it's something legal or the budget, because Carrie hasn't been through a full budget cycle with us. So I will help him this year with the budget. Other than that, we just kind of divide and conquer because he is out in the field a lot. He doesn't just sit behind the desk here, so that's where it is. If the board would like something different, that's perfectly fine. We actually talked about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I was only going to attend via Zoom. There was no reason for me to be present in the meetings unless there was something specific that I needed to address or Carrie needed help with. But other than that, I was just going to attend via Zoom. And I don't think that there's any reason why I shouldn't. But with that said, I am here to support Russ and Carrie in whatever they need. But there is a lot of moving parts that goes on in Celebration. Some things that we do that you guys don't even know about because it's just the nature of the business and course of action, and we have to get it done. So it does take more than just one person. And, before Gary was a very hands-off district manager, You know, Russ pretty much, and they did a phenomenal job, by the
And
way.
Brad Smith.
Yeah, they ran everything. Gary showed up to talk about financials. That's it. They ran everything. And they did a phenomenal job. So that's where it's at. I will still support them. I'm not the face here. That would be Carrie and then Russ. And Carrie does support Russ as well on the field side as far as that and district management. So that's kind of that. And I apologize that we did not make that clear last year when I made this announcement and we got the resolution signed so he could be a signature on any district documents and all that. But we do still divide and conquer and do some things. And if we need to change that to make more delineation, so everybody understands that he is your point of contact. He is the guy, if he needs something, he'll let me know. So that's that part of it. The second part is we have been talking for probably, I don't know, about 6 months. About 6 months. I brought Tom into this conversation as well. Our plan for 2026 was a couple of things. Number one, a succession plan, right? Carrie is going to want to retire in the next 3 to 5 years. Russ is going to want to retire 3 to 5 years, maybe 10. You know, again, I keep saying no. But we need to make sure we have something in place, and we are. So we were going to introduce and we still are, another district manager in 2026 that will be a support to Carrie, whatever he needs, you know, learning celebration, which I've been here now going on 6 or 7 years. I still don't know all of celebration. Brenda was a huge thing that I even leaned on with knowing celebration, because like this, I just text her and she's like, yep, this is what happened. And she still works here. So we still have that knowledge, and all that, but we are bringing on another district manager to sit right beside Carrie and myself and learn everything that's going on. We are also bringing on another Russ 2.0.
Sorry about the luck.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like him too.
Yeah.
Younger version.
Yeah. So these were all things we've been talking about in the last 6 months, sorry. And those things were going to be implemented in 2026. So that is our plan. That is the way we're moving. But for all intents and purposes, structure for everybody's clarity, Carrie is the district manager. I support him behind the scenes, and Russ behind the scenes. And if Carrie's on vacation, then you would see me until we get and when I say new district manager, it's someone we have on staff. It's not someone I'm plucking off the street and going, hey, learn this. Yeah, it's someone we have internal, but we're also want to make sure we have the right person, the right personality fit with what goes on in celebration and the knowledge base and all of that. And as far as Russ, it has not been easy to even identify someone to be just a shadow of Russ, you know, and we've been looking for that for how long? I mean, it's been well over a year. And the two people that Carrie and I thought we liked, Russ didn't like. And he was like, nope. So it's finding that right person. We do value celebration. We want to make sure we're not just throwing somebody in there, throwing a body to be there. You know, I want someone who can get the knowledge from Russ and be able to do something with it. So that's our goal. Is there any clarification? Would you like something different? I did put in my email that we're going to start sending out the updates. I used to do them. Shelley wasn't on the board. You were on the board. When I'd send out the next day, I would send out a recap of the entire meeting and highlight everything in yellow that were tasks of legal or engineering or whatever. And then Carrie sends out his Friday update. So we can do that as well. So open to suggestions or any clarification that's
I
needed.
think as a new guy, I consciously did not fill out your review because I'm reading the room and it's like there seems to be a lot of frustration, especially at the last meeting. And I reached out to Carrie directly and I said, listen, I'm a new guy. Reading the room, it looks like there's two bosses. So part of the problem is the delineation of the role, because it's like respect you, Angel, for what I know, and I like you, Carrie, so it's like, but I feel like there's two bosses, so there can't be two bosses. My comment was to Carrie, so you need to clear this up and make it abundantly clear where the locus of control is, what the succession is. So that's number one. Number two, it's like you have two different communication styles. I like your style, and I like your style, but melding those two things together, taking requirements of more detailed view of the task list. So combining both of your best practices into one in a document we can all agree would solve a lot of noise, because Dave brings up important points. He's like, hey, we talked about these things. I can be super detailed too. He's detailed, and he has a right to be.
Mhm.
It's like, but are you meeting those requirements? Because you're piping in and then he's piping in. I'm like, I gotta meld this story together. And it's like, is this the right accountability way that we want to communicate? I think we need to tell you, hey, here's what we want to see.
Mhm.
We agree on a document. You're gonna deliver it. Here's the frequency. And here's the level of content. I think that would be helpful for you
Yes.
to know what
Yes.
that needs to be. So I made that comment. And I just didn't want to add more noise to the equation. So I kind of held back and said, let everybody opine. And from what I can see, those were the two things. And then the third thing is, you've got this, the Azuria,
Oh,
the
Sorry.
company is owned by, you guys are owned by New Mountain Capital. So
Yes,
it's
so-
PE Group, and then Azuria is this water management. They're also owned by New Mountain Capital.
that's right.
And you're gonna do a combination that
That's right.
was announced in July, which does create like, oh, well, what's that gonna look like? It's supposed to close in January, so there was a little bit of conversation around what's that gonna look like and how is it gonna affect operations
Yeah.
and what's gonna.
It's not. We will still operate as Infomark. We've always been owned by,
New Mountain. Yeah.
well, before that, it was even somebody else. So, yeah, every 3 to 5 years possibly could change.
Pushed up.
Yep. But we did acquire, or New Mountain acquired Azuria, which now we will all merge together. They will operate as Azuria. We will operate as Infomark. And we actually have some other firms that we've acquired too. ESG operates as ESG.
When you say Azuria, you're talking water.
Yes.
Yes.
They do a lot of stuff, but yes, water,
Water would be here.
utility stuff,
Pipeline.
pipelining, yeah, all that stuff. ESG, they're doing a big project for enterprise right now. CAD mapping, they do all of that kind of stuff. GIS. They have also some engineers on staff. So we have a lot of different companies, but yes, Azuria, we are not changing our name. We are a separate entity of New Mountain. They invest in us. They pour more money into it. We do have more resources.
Combining those two companies in formal merger from what I can see. So
Yes.
within New Mountain, as an equity partner, those companies are combining, and therefore there
Yes.
will be changes. I mean, there.
Oh, yeah, no,
has to be,
they're
because I
already,
mean, I've done
yeah,
this.
we're already talking about some
I'm just curious
changes.
to how that affects
Yeah.
us. Does it affect this? Does it affect the structure? I don't know what I don't know, so.
Yeah, it doesn't affect us. They don't do what we do. HOA, when I say we do, community management services, HOA, CDD, they don't do that. We will have additional resources for a bunch of different things, for sure. And it is not closed yet. We're not under NDA or anything anymore. It's out there. We're supposed to close first quarter. So between January and March, it should be finalized. No reason why it's not going to be. But yeah, we will still operate as Infomark. But yes, there's already been some corporate changes for sure. There will absolutely be some corporate changes, but within our group shouldn't be any.
We operate as an independent business unit.
Yes. Yeah. And so does like the utility side,
Yeah.
ConOps, they call it on the enterprise side. They work as an independent as well, but they're also part of Infomark, if that makes sense. So that is, yeah, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, there's no reason why it shouldn't close first quarter. And we announced that, I want to say we announced it in November.
So they're publicly and like.
Yeah. Yeah. So it announced to all of us internally. I want to say it could have been more earlier than November, but something towards the end of the year last year, they made the announcement. Yes.
I'll ask a question on the structure. That's
Sure.
a question. I always write to both of you and it's amazing because one of you always answers. Should I continue to do that or just copy Carrie and you'll punt it to Amy?
That's up to
Yes.
you. I just, the
Okay.
only reason we did that is because like if he's in a deposition,
Yeah,
which
no,
you knew,
It's
you know.
great because you guys, I always get the answer and I'm always,
I
and
think-
80% of the time it's carried, but once in a while.
Yeah, I think it's for you, I think it's fine, but I think for what Shell's pointing to is one message.
I'm trying to get it
To the
to
board.
having CC
Yeah.
do it. That's what I'm doing.
That's
So
right.
I'm Like, there's
Okay.
one locus of control
Yep.
because two CEOs don't.
And that would be Carrie.
And trying to normalize that structure.
And then for the board on the task list, I mean, whenever we go to a CDD meeting, the next day do a follow-up list. Am I do a list every meeting of all the things? Is that something you'd want me to communicate to them so you see the list? I mean, that's how I respond to what we've done. It's like, okay, before.
Yeah,
this,
I
before the agenda.
think it'd be, for me, it'd be beneficial. Like an after meeting, we don't get multiple emails, cause that's
Okay, yeah,
confusion. When you're looking at multiple documents, if it was just coming from you, Carrie, and you say, okay, here we go, the after.
So you want
Yeah.
to see my list then of what?
If you just send it to Carrie, I think we can incorporate it.
That's what I'm talking
The
about.
update that we send, that he sends out.
It's just it's a simple.
Yeah.
They use the term RACI, who's responsible, who's accountable, who's consented, who's informed, what's the timeline? It'll be really nice just to see that, like sheriff stuff. I get it, I did it, I got blocked. Okay, but you did, you followed through this date and you're responsible, right? So maybe, I don't know if you're amenable to it, whatever that is, we could have a couple of us look at that and refine it with you and say, hey, we'll present it in the next board meeting. So here's the
That'd be
new
good.
path forward and maybe that solves some of the noisy issues, because I don't think there's any ill intent. It's just transition, right? And not getting the data that we need, so.
I guess the question is how mundane do you want it? And we
That's
usually
where
just
we
use
can
it,
refine it.
for internal, like, okay, draft contract for this.
Right.
Follow up on this stuff.
I guess for me, and again, I don't speak for anybody else. I was just kind of looking like, okay, this is what we discussed, need to do this, great. I don't need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, for the whole thing, because I'm like, okay, well, we did talk about it. I don't know how much detail, at what point is it too much detail?
Okay.
For,
I'll
right?
send it. You can.
I know, and that's, we can all figure out how much detail we want.
Prioritize it, we assign accountability, we assign a date to it, and then I think that's enough, whatever that is. And so I think combination date, I'm more than willing to do it. Maybe a couple of us get together, say, here's a template, what do you think? Send it out to the team and.
And I think it would help us, because I think one of the challenges is that we say, oh, we need this, we need this, we need this. But one of the things we don't do is set priorities.
Right.
Because if there's 6 things that can be done and we have 15, we have to decide, all right, what are we gonna focus on?
Well, because Greg's priority, my priority, and your priority, and Sam's priority, they're different priorities, so we.
Right, but as a board, we can all say, that's my priority and that's low. That's, and we figure out what that is.
If we have that dialogue during the meeting and prioritize it, yes, this will go a whole lot better for everybody.
Yes, I agree.
And I think ending every meeting, I saw Carrie did it with the sheriff's meeting. Because sometimes with discussions, people are talking over and then we don't circle back to one topic and we keep going. So I liked what he did at the sheriff's meeting, which was, okay, what are the directives leaving this meeting? What are you asking staff to do? And that way there's a definitive follow-up with the board wants A, B, and C done, and that's what I'm gonna do, make sure that it gets done. I know there was one comment which I responded, I didn't share it with Jan or Mark, and I probably should have put you guys on the email. So a couple of things. The Infomark evaluations are not in this agenda. I received some after the date. So I would ask that as long as the board's okay, that they go back into the January agenda to be on the record as a point of record and part of it. They already put it in the strict record, but a part of the record, that way if a resident wants to see them, they can pull that agenda and get them. But that's the only reason they're not in this agenda, because they would have been. So we'll put them on the January agenda. The other thing that was pointed out was that, we don't do a good job of holding other people to task, right? The vendors or whatever. And the district manager is a facilitator of the district. everything runs through the district manager. It is our job as a district manager to facilitate and make sure that everything that is, because we work for the board. Everything that the board directs, that we are making sure gets across the finish line and back to you all to be able to make intelligent decisions about what you're doing, because that's your role, is to sit here and make decisions. But you also have staff here. We are your staff. They're in every meeting because this board requires them to be here. Some districts don't require counsel, don't require engineer. So then it becomes more on the district manager to go, hey, Jan, this is what the board really wanted of you. But they're here, they hear the directives. They don't report to us. They don't work for us. They work for you, just like I work for you. So, you know, if they're working on things, it becomes a little bit funky sometimes if I'm going, Jan, I need this. This has to be done. This has to be done. We have a great working relationship, as does Mark, but there's also things that go behind, and it's better if you hear it from them. If this is why this is taking so long, instead of me hammering her going, no, you got to get this done, because it's a professional relationship. So I just wanted to make sure the understanding is there. We are the facilitator. You know, we'll reach out and go, hey, do you have that agreement? And sometimes she'll reach out and go, hey, you know, the board asked this, do you have this? So I can get my agreement done. So it works both ways, holding each other accountable. But, you know, it coming to a board meeting and, you know, if legal is still working on something, then it's going to be legal who gives you that update, because I'm not going to speak for her. I'm not an attorney. You know, unless she says, hey, I'm going to be absent. Carrie, here's my report. Can you give it to the board? Or Mark does the same thing. But, you know, they're at every meeting. So that's where your updates would come from. And we do work together to hold each other accountable. If she's working on something or we are, and we need something from one another, we absolutely do.
Yeah, the template, and to your point, we put Mark on a couple priorities. He's like, so what I heard you say is, this is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, which signifies some kind of response time.
Mhm.
I've got to do this. This is what I articulated from what you said. I've captured that. I send it over to him. He then compiles all that and ships it out.
That's right.
And now we're going, hey, it's
Yeah.
a fairly simple
Very
process.
easy.
If we have a cadence and a discipline about following that. So, well, we can design that template very easily and assign that whole RACI methodology. So.
So the
It's very
question,
simple.
the question was mine, and there'll be no surprise. Well, probably anybody read the evaluation forms. I had put that in there of concern. And I'm still looking at the contract we have with you guys, and I appreciate the fact they're not your subcontractors, right?
Yeah, they're not.
Legally, I get that. I totally understand the difference.
Mhm.
However, particularly that this board has discussed pretty extensively, and we've made conscious decisions that we're not engaging Jan separately. We're not engaging Mark separately
Mhm.
because we're trying to go through you to do that.
Yeah.
Even though you don't have, and I would not expect you to have, certainly not legal accountability. Hey, if Jan screws something up, I'm not going to sue them.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying that.
No.
But from a performance perspective, hey, are people being held to task?
Mhm.
That was the frustration of my comment, where I didn't feel that was happening, and I don't want to exclude, in my mind, be curious to the impression of the rest of the board.
Mhm.
Jan and Mark are no different than any other vendor for purposes of your contract of and I'm looking at section 15 of the management of their contracts, not just contractually, but holding them to task in the overall oversight of the district. So I want to make sure we're not, because we're classifying them as staff and they sit up here with us.
They're,
From a management perspective, that doesn't change, in my mind, the responsibility of Infomark to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing.
I will say,
That's
not
yeah,
how it works
yeah,
in this
generally.
industry. They are vendors, right? Just like I'm a vendor, but they are your professional staff. They're not a pond vendor. They're not a landscape vendor. This is your professional staff. And our contract, and I mean, I'll talk to Chris about this, but
Yeah.
that we are not held to manage your attorney.
And I'm not saying that it says that, so don't.
No, I
You'll
understand
get a
that,
spin
but
on that, yeah.
we don't have accountability to manage your engineer or your
Yeah,
legal
that's
counsel. That's not what
against-
any manager in this industry.
No,
would
and
do.
that's.
But we throttled that back at some point in the not too distant past by saying we were not supposed to interact directly with our
Agreed.
professionals.
No. I agree with that. To reach out and rack up bills,
Correct.
100%. That's not what I'm talking about. What I think he's referring to is we are responsible, which we are, to manage your vendors, right? Your pond vendor, those are vendors. This is your professional staff. We don't manage them. That's totally different from facilitating and making sure we work together to get things delivered to the board. Totally different. Now, if this board says, oh no, I want Carrie as the district manager to manage Mark and Jan, that's a different story, but that's not industry standard.
Then
That's
what is
not-
the standard? How are they managed?
Because we report to the board.
Yeah,
That's why I do
they
my
work
task
for you,
list.
just like I do.
Done, I report to you, this is done, we're still working on this, this isn't done, this is taking an extra amount of time.
Right.
So I guess my question, and again, I'm not trying to pull out the contract because there's nothing explicit there, so I'm okay with that.
Right.
It is more of a practical one, so I can take any one of a dozen things that we brought up over the past year, do the pond allocations. That really are predominantly professional staff and not so much you guys. But the fact that the entire conversation has been from a board perspective, we're coming to you for things and actions and all that kind of stuff in between meetings. I got it in a meeting, hey, they're all here, they're representing their own functional areas. But particularly in between meetings, if
And we
this is
reach out.
absolutely a change from
We
how I
reach-
understood the
Yeah,
relationship.
we reach out.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, we reach out to them and go, hey,
What's happening?
what's
ponds?
happening on the
Like
ponds?
Mark went to
Yeah,
really create
You are
the last.
we are. We're the facilitator. That's what we are. Every district manager, I guarantee you, this is not something new. You could reach out to any management company, any attorney, any engineer. They are not managed by the district manager because they work for you. They don't work for us. Just like the pod vendors, part of our contract is to manage your vendors, right? They're not vendors, they're professional staff. We do pond vendors, landscape pools. If you had pools, we manage your pool vendor, all of that stuff. We make sure the work gets done. We, look at them, make sure they're doing right. If the pool stays green for a month, then we're gonna come tell you it's time for you to get a new
And I'll
pool.
tell you, and I'll say, Jan, for you, legally, their contract does not differentiate between that. And I'm more worried about the practical upshot. I don't know that we need to go doing contract mod, but I'm just telling you, what she's describing is not the way it's worded in here. It doesn't delineate, hey, professional staff is outside of the purview. It just
I
says
think that's.
contractors and
In
vendors.
the industry,
Yeah.
that's, that they,
I will tell you, when I started like the Friday report and would reach out to Jan, and she's like, no, my communication is direct with the board. That's why you don't usually see anything from legal in that front end.
And there's a method to the madness on that too, because there's a lot of things that she may not want in writing. She may want to deliver
I get
in person,
yeah.
So there's a method to that, but yeah,
And that's why we report every month and we put everything on that we're doing and.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
slow on something with the.
Level set is an important thing structurally, how the alignment is, who the head is, how, if we just figure that out, life will get a whole lot easier, so. At least from my perspective, no guy, but is.
Well, no, I think you make sense. That. I mean, I think having the clarity, a lot of the stuff is information. Some board members need to have everything on a weekly basis, some on a bi-weekly basis, monthly basis, because there's different board members, different mentality where they need things. So I think having that clear of where we are with things, because for me, the root of it has been, where are we with things?
Well, and
That's
particularly
been-
to that point, my expectation, again, not contractual, just in
Yes.
layman's terms, is if I'm coming up on a task item and I say, hey, in between meetings, where are we with this thing? And I know it's interdependent on Mark or on Jan to be able to do it.
Reach out.
And my expectation is honestly as well, that you guys are gonna tell me, hey, Jan didn't get back to me. Hey, Mark didn't get back to me. He's slow, and again, that's really more a chairman role
Yeah.
but even as somebody who's asking for an update on tasks, this is a different, to say that that's not you, maybe we're playing semantics. I don't know. That just sounds a lot different than what I understood management's role. So.
Yeah, and I will tell you, even when Gary was here, there's no manager that I know in this industry, and I've been doing it 16 years. And I have never, ever managed professional staff. That's not my role. They report to you.
It's not your expertise.
Yeah, and it's definitely not. We do vendors, yes. 100%. That is in our contract. We are to manage your vendors. We're to report if your vendors are deficient and give you, hey, this one's bad. We really think you should go out to RFP and all of that. But we would not manage.
Facilitation and.
Yeah,
feedback.
that's it.
I mean, I generally don't.
It's a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a contract, they'll see that I get it done, but if it's, contact the county about something, I don't tell them until the next meeting for the report or to put stuff on the agenda.
Well, are you comfortable having 5 bosses?
I do in, I think, 30 districts we have. So, yeah, it's pretty
Well,
much. how
in
it
Dave's
goes.
point, sarcasm aside, we made a conscious effort to get away from
We-
5 bosses
No,
because we're
it's-
trying to funnel it
But
to the
it's
chair
not
and
necessarily,
our staff.
but yeah, I mean, if there is something during the month that comes up, you'll ask Carrie and say, hey, Carrie, this.
I mean,
blah,
how
blah,
many
blah," and
people are
Carrie-
going directly? I wouldn't go to you. I would.
No, you've got to go
Carrie
to me,
to
and then
come up
Carrie
with something
would-
outside
Yeah,
of
and
this.
then
And
Carrie
either
would-
we answer it
Yeah, or it would.
Carrie
it
says,
would- so
yep,
why
and
would
this
that
is legal.
change?
That it
No,
should,
hasn't changed.
that has no, yeah, that,
I'm not going directly to anybody, and you're the conduit, period. And it's-
Jen will tell you, I'll ask her, is it Bill?
she does.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, are you gonna bill me to read this email?
says don't answer.
I guess it's, no. Why would you think it would go another way? Because that's
Yeah.
the way I would do it.
And that is the way
Yeah.
it runs. I should say,
Just because the conversations have been,
Oh,
and I'm not the only one, so I know I'm not losing my mind.
I don't, maybe I
Yeah.
just don't know the difference, but, you know,
Yeah.
my perception would be.
That's fine. I'll just fire for that.
yeah, and there are districts, I will say, that do not have their councils go to meetings and they don't have their engineer because they don't want to have,
There's not very many.
no,
because
there's not.
There are very few council. Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Now-
Zoom or something is
Yeah.
fine, but.
And in those instances, yes, you would be solely dependent on Carrie to go, Jan, you're not gonna be at this meeting. Is there any updates? Or if a legal issue came up, Carrie would relay that back and go, Jan, this came up in the meeting.
That direct.
And then she would do what she does, and then it would get back to the board.
So are you saying that there was some board action at some time in the past which mandated that legal and engineering attend every one of our meetings?
The
That
board
has been-
decided that, yeah.
The board started this way before I got here.
Yeah.
I mean, when Greg and I both came on, your engineer and council was at every meeting, except for maybe some workshops. She would check in and say. "Do you
By
want me
exception.
at the
They were,
workshop?"
they were here. when he ran.
Yes,
He's-
but I will tell you, it is never a good idea not to have your council engineer.
Yeah, we,
It comes and
If the
goes.
topics are on the
Yeah,
agenda.
if you have stuff going on, you want an engineer, but it's never a good idea not to have counsel. I will tell you that,
And I
because
think-
there's always something legal that comes up.
yeah, in our districts, if somebody says we don't want you to attend meetings, we pass on it.
There's only one firm out there in the state of Florida that I'm aware of that will say, okay, you don't want us there? We
There's
won't.
just too much liability
Yeah.
for the manager to decide whether a legal issue came up. That's
Yeah.
not really fair.
And you do have some managers that, you know, if you've been doing it so long, you get
Yeah.
into the habit of just talking, and then all of a sudden they're saying stuff that they should not be saying because they're not an attorney. But it's very easy to do because you've just been involved in so many conversations over the years, you know the answers. So. But yeah, that's typically how it works.
All right, and let me reflect briefly on the prior confusion, because actually, if you go to the website right now, you are the one listed as the district manager.
Yeah.
Is that gonna change?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
And
gonna
it-
change.
Actually, it should have already changed. I don't know if they've submitted the change yet, but even on your agenda, Carrie's listed as a district manager at the top of your
Okay.
agenda.
But your signature says director of field operations, so
Mhm.
that would also change.
I don't know why it needs to change,
Well, he's the district manager.
but he also does that. I mean, that's up to Carrie, whatever he wants to change it. I don't know that that would matter.
I'm also the district manager for Enterprise.
Okay.
Well, and guys, I'm kind of letting this conversation go just to see how, I mean, I specifically asked this question on March 11th. I had to pull the email back up because there was an email that went out that Angel, you had sent, and it was, communications were coming through Carrie.
Yep, I said he is your point of contact.
And I specifically asked, does this mean he's the district manager? And the response was no.
No, I said, yes, you got upset and called Chris.
I copied Chris on the email, and the response from you is this is a communication piece, not a taking over aspect.
That's right, because he wasn't taking over. As I stated, I've always been in supporting Carrie. But yes, he was hired. We talked about this. I think, Tom, I don't know if you were part of that conversation. I know, Greg, you were.
I was out at dinner, and the conversation that we
Yes.
had when we went out to dinner was Carrie was going to be on the field side. And I specifically asked then if the trajectory for Carrie was as a district manager replacement, and the answer from Chris was no.
I recollect it differently. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, because that was always the intent of hiring Gary.
Carrie, we're talking about you here like you're not. I don't have objection to Carrie doing
Oh,
it.
no, I understand.
I have concerns, number one, on the communication. It should not, however this plays out, it should not be this befuddled. I mean, when we came on, when you and I came on in the first meeting, there was planning that had happened for months ahead of time. Granted, a lot of it was behind closed doors, as it should have been, particularly because, and I said this on the record before, the district was in a horrible position prior of dictating staff to the point where we were dictating salaries in our budget, which was.
Oh, yeah,
insane.
there was org
So
charts.
I'm glad those are
Yeah.
days of yore. However, comma, there was a plan and there was discussions and the board was brought into that. And you and I came in the first meeting where, hey, Angel is now the person and there's a transition time and all that. But it was made clear to me that prior to me coming on, there had been conversations that, hey, this was the change.
There had been one, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, because Gary was gonna retire and then he wasn't gonna retire.
Right.
And then he was gonna retire and then he did. And then I kind of,
And however, and however that happened, there was some level of, my concern, and I'm trying not to go backwards on this, but it feeds back into my general commentary of my concerns is this is yet another thing on a communication item with something as simple as who's the district manager. And if in an email I'm reading at and I have to parse words after I ask not once, but twice, who is the district manager? And I read it and I'm still now confused. And 8 months ago, I was wrong in how I read it. And the website's still there and his email. I'm sorry, this is more than just confusion.
and again, I guess, Tom, were you aware who the district manager was?
I was aware. I mean.
Jack, were you? Okay.
So.
Dave, you were not. Shell,
I have,
you came on.
I have,
You're new, you don't know
Yeah.
anything.
There's already serious opinion, I think.
Clear that reading the room, it's like pretty obvious. We gotta.
She doesn't need to take a smoke break.
I have a question. I understand your point of view. So now what?
As do I.
Because my
I-
point,
I'm not-
wait, I got the floor. So my thing is that, I've been on board now 3+ years. And I joke with you all the time.
Yeah,
Right. I drive you crazy. And I drive a lot of people crazy, right? Because when you work with different boards, we all have different personalities, okay? I'm sure there are things that I do that piss you off, and there are things that you do that piss me off, right? It's just the way it is. I have a list. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I completely understand it. Information was given now. Are we moving forward or are we gonna go back? And I'm okay if to be here another 4 hours to rehash the last, 6-7 months. I'm okay with that.
That's why.
I just want to know what is the
That's why I opened up my comment saying I'm not trying to go backwards on, and that's why I sat here for 15-20 minutes letting it go by as I was trying to pull up emails to make sure I actually wrote and read what I thought I wrote and read 9 months ago. It's not a question, okay, who shot John Witter? Kerry, district manager, good, thumbs up. It's more a reaction to, these were comments that I had about other things. Now it is another reflection of that much of a systemic issue on communication that it even came down to, you have at least 2 board members are confused as to, pardon my French, who the hell was the district manager for the past year? And if it happened a year ago that you're saying it got announced last year, this email only came out in March.
No. I made an announcement. The first announcement was that Carrie has joined us. He's gonna be your point of contact. Do you remember when that was? Then we talked about Carrie becoming the district manager. So clearly, we didn't make that clear, Greg. If you and Dave didn't get, and I don't know.
The email was in March. Are you talking about when he got hired?
No. When he got hired, we hadn't done anything because he was still feeling everything out. We wanted to see, he was actually getting this. He was actually doing other stuff in other districts and all of that. But the intent of us hiring him from Reedy Creek as a certified district manager was at some point to take over Celebration and Enterprise. That was the intent behind the hiring.
And that was our initial conversation because I was so close to most of the Disney staff.
Yes.
And I.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I
we
missed
made
a
that-
3-hour dinner. It was right after Brett went. whatever.
Yeah, and I made that announcement here, two different. So I'm not saying you're wrong. We did say he was gonna be the point of contact. That was the first communication. Then I came back and I Brenda had her pulling the audio of which meeting that was. She seems to think it was the December meeting where I announced Carrie as the district manager. I don't know if either one of you remember, but I have her pulling the audio because honestly, Greg, I don't.
And I don't want you pulling the auto. I don't want to go back on that. I don't want to sit here.
The point is-
I want to hear the audio.
But the point is, Greg, moving forward, yes, it was not communicated clearly. Doesn't matter to you if you two understood it, but you two did not. So clearly, I did not do a good job of communicating that clearly. So that is what I wanted. I put in my email and then I wanted to reiterate today. Carrie is your point of contact. He is your district manager. I will still be supporting him in whatever he needs as a district manager and even as his support to Russ. I will still be here. If Carrie goes on vacation, I will be filling in and be here at the meetings. I will do that. If he needs me to answer something or help him with something, I will be part of the budget process with him because he has not been through a full budget process with the board yet. So I will still be doing those things. In 26, like I just said, we plan on finding Russ 2.0. We've been through several candidates and none of them have reached Russ's approval level yet.
We went through 17 resumes in the last couple of days.
Can I interject something?
Of course.
You've established Carrie's gonna be it. You're gonna help him out. Let's move forward. We got an agenda to go through. This is a waste of time.
Not a waste of
It's
time.
not.
Stand by for just a second.
His opinion's valid. That doesn't mean you can discount it. We're trying to be respectful.
Yeah,
So
well, thanks for the
Don't
interjection.
tell me my opinions.
I'm not interjecting. He said something and, you know, I'm just trying to be, I just want to be respectful and get,
Yes.
you get a chance to
Let's
speak to.
So let's move things forward, just so I understand the difference between yesterday and today going forward, because if, well, or is it a different? Because here's what I've been
Yesterday,
doing.
I was just trying to follow what you're.
Yes, because prior to today, all of my communications, I have copied who I thought the district manager was, and it was you only. All of my,
But he's been copied on them too, because I share them with Carrie.
okay, so going forward, it's now me communicating with the county on all the stuff that's going on, and I'm copying Carrie.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. So Carrie is the single point of contact.
Yeah, but anything, by the way, for, I don't even know how long, to be fair, everything from her, him, you, and you. Whether you send it to me or Carrie, I get it or he gets it. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
give each other the information because there may be something that Carrie may not, or something that I may not know and go, hey, he reaches out to Reedy Creek and gets information. So both of us know everything that's coming from that result, it pertains to the district.
So what we haven't asked yet is, Carrie, are you comfortable with that? Because that's a change for me, because now I'm going to be copying you solely on all of these interactions. So you were comfortable with that
It is.
responsibility and
Yes.
everything moving forward and managing it, because of course, what you mentioned to us before, or me personally, I don't know, maybe it's to the group, was that you weren't comfortable or you weren't including other projects or other items that were we were tracking as tasks because it was somebody else's responsibility.
Mostly engineering and leads.
So if that's gonna change, is what I'm saying, was what I'm hearing.
Well, he said that those tasks that he wasn't including were engineering and legal.
Okay.
And so Jan, and well.
They just went through how they're gonna provide their updates, I thought.
Yeah, I will now do my task list and send it to you
Yeah,
guys.
my understanding is Shell's gonna create a template that.
Motion that Dave and I collaborate on this new model that.
Yeah.
Accountability.
I make a motion to collaborate right now, so you don't violate.
And how can we get the input?
Yeah, we're gonna work now.
We can bring it back to the board.
I think could have taken on.
So to close on this though, I will make the comment, and I shared with Angel, there is enough that goes on here day to day, long term. You still need engagement from someone. I think one of the reasons Field has improved so much is Russ finally has the support he's needed forever. Island Village, that is almost a full-time job managing all what's going on in the village. Russ is there every day. We have staff there every single day. Whether it's Angel, whether it's another district manager, there's going to need to be additional support.
And by the way, the 26 plan that I was telling you, because we've been talking, and again, I brought Tom into this as the chairman and liaison to management, this is our plan. In 26, we wanted to bring on an additional manager. I would still work and support, right? But they would be more on the ground with Carrie here. At a bare minimum, we've laid out that expectation of who we put here would be at least 3 days a week on site with Carrie. Carrie's here 5 days a week and some weekends. He drives through the community and looks at stuff. So that would be
Christmas decorations.
yeah, that would be part of it, is whatever district manager we add to Carrie to help support him. I'm still gonna support, but they would be here at least 3 days a week to be here to really know celebration, because you can't really do it from afar, in my opinion. It's not beneficial.
This is a very busy.
It is.
Yeah,
There's a
much
lot
more.
going on. Depositions. You have no idea the amount of time
They're trying to tell us we're high maintenance.
that we spend in litigation depositions. Russ
The
has one.
community, the
At what
community
time?
actually is very high maintenance.
No, she didn't.
I did not. The depositions have nothing. to do with you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes on, maybe all those. Yeah, with the depositions, and the Mattamy bills, you don't see those bills for all the
Oh.
Mattamy turnovers and how much time those take. And Jay does a lot of that work on our side, keep costs down, and also just because it's a lot of work.
There's just a lot of moving parts.
Walkthroughs, punch lists.
Yeah, there's just a lot. So it does require more than one person. One person could probably do it, but it would be a lot for one person to do.
Yeah.
So,
I just think there's a lot of service that needs to be hit that.
Yep.
I don't think Russ and I can do it on.
in order to give you the service, and again, it's no cost to the district. We can, like, according, the contract, we can put 50 million people in place, or we can put 2.
That's on you.
Exactly.
Good.
And that's where we're at. And it is the level of service. So again, apologize for the crossing of lines and no delineation. I understand. I have a different style than he has, so it's hard I get it. But he will be your direct, and if he needs me, he'll forward me what it is and say, hey, can you do this? And I'll send him back the answer. You will only get communication from him unless you ask me something specific, then I'm happy to answer that. But I will still support him behind the scene. I'll still attend meetings, probably via Zoom, except for the budget workshops and the budget. I'll be in person.
Secretly drinking off screen.
Yes, I'll have my cup with a tea bag hanging out.
Just kidding. I mean, guys, I'll say that just to close up. The dream team is there, so I want to say that. I mean, and congratulations to you for you did not need to be, I mean, from when you started 5 years ago, as far as being a district manager, now you're above all the district managers. So that's awesome. And bringing in Carrie, my only concern with Carrie has been, he's been very successful for what I've understood the responsibility for working the field side with Russ. We've now finally gotten up to a point where we're not reacting to every single thing that's broken.
Yeah,
We're getting
agreed.
ahead of stuff. My concern has been with Carrie, and it'll bear out because I'm not going to ask you what else you're responsible for outside unless you're going to tell me, is now can you handle what sounds like it's going to be enterprise and celebration only, both district and field side? Obviously, you've got Russ here as well. So that's going to prove out with time. And quite honestly, from a board perspective, you look at the contract and say, figure it out.
The surprise.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for the last year.
Yeah.
He's been doing everything on both sides for the last year. And I still help out on enterprise. I didn't go to the last meeting. He did himself, but I went to the prior. Yeah, enterprise, there's minimal stuff because it's utilities and they have a whole team, but he's been doing both for the better part of a year.
John Zip and Superman.
That's right.
This would be the.
No,
Don't do that.
right, no.
But to answer your question, Greg, and Carrie can answer that too, he doesn't do anything outside of Celebration Enterprise. He did in the beginning when he was first hired, he would run out to Brighton Lakes or Harmony or whatever, but that stopped probably, I don't even know how long ago.
June or July, probably last June.
Yeah, so he is solely here. And the only time he wouldn't be here is if he's on vacation or out. That's it, but he is here every day. And has been. No other projects. We don't have him doing anything else. He is solely dedicated to Celebration.
Greg, did you have anything else that I don't know?
Okay, good. Joe? I'm just trying to give everyone time.
So on my part, I'm gonna close and then Carrie can go over the vendor evaluations. So talk about any additional loan stuff you guys want in your first February. I think it's February if I'm saying it right. Budget workshop. If you want anything additional, I will get it then and ask for it then. And then the Infomark evaluations will be in the January agenda.
Is it too late now for me to submit to you for?
No.
Okay.
No.
I will do that.
I just assumed you weren't going to because it was based on last year
Well,
and you were like.
I
take a pass.
waited for a moment for obvious reasons and,
Okay,
Think we-
yes, if you send it to me, the agenda goes out
Yeah.
the week before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
26th, so. But those will be in the January agenda. I will reach out to Aegis to get input on the electric boat rentals. And we figured out Lake Eola.
Yep.
That's a county thing.
I will look into the idea of a concession agreement, which is an agreement with a government, with
Yeah.
a private entity. Generally, the problem is that you need to make sure you're being equitable and fair to everyone. So usually it's an RFP process or something if you want to offer something useful.
Something at a time, people looking to do it.
But I will look into that a little bit further and see what else I can come up with.
Yeah, and Aegis should be fairly quick. They usually get back to me pretty quick. And I can give them this proposal, which will be easy. This is all the information. But I want to understand, so he would be a vendor contracted with the district. The gentleman who proposed, Alex. He would be a vendor because
$36,000.
he's running all of this,
We
right?
need to have
Okay.
some kind of agreement with him, but as a private entity, we've got to think about how fair is it for the district to be letting somebody come in and make money off district property.
I mean, I like.
And
the
then
idea
we
of
would
RFP
take
as a
money.
process.
Yeah.
We'd have to do our fee then.
That if
And
we
then-
decide that we want to have votes, then we should put an RFP or something out there to say.
But then we would make money, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
we have to find out if any bond funds were used
It's
to
the grant
construct.
concession agreement, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's where Brenda was coming from, a
Yeah.
concession, because
Yeah, I mean,
the
that's-
district made
the
like
concession-
some money.
Yeah, and we just have to make sure that there was
Right.
no bond funds used on the lake, which probably if they were, they were paid off by now. Improvements there and debt and all.
Right.
We need to pay for his annual Christmas party, so.
I have my list, Terry, and I'll go through this and then email it to you to include in your summary. And you can go over it. Okay.
Greek stuff.
That's all I got.
Greece, crazy. All right, where are we?
Yeah, we'll move on. We've already gone through all that stuff, so I guess now we're going back to district engineer.
Well, unless you want to go over vendor evaluations.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
You. How that.
I just want to get your overall. Let's take it vendor by vendor. I think you're gonna have to go ahead and see what your feedback, what the feedback was that you said.
Okay, Premier. Very good, great relationship with them. Alex is the president, is very engaged. He actually does the monthly tours, spends time with our staff. He and I talk more than once a week, usually, even though he has staff on site. I usually reach out to him, we have conversations about what's going on, so. If you saw the review, it's all very good.
I do appreciate them because I see the boats and the vehicles around town where with every vendor, I swear they never came by.
Tremendous improvement.
Yeah.
I think, Russ said it's the best since he's been here, so. And I think conditions of the pond reflects that. So, very responsive when we have complaints, we get work orders in, we meet with them the days that their applicator is here. They're very good workers.
Premier and Clark, people, ones that weren't in here.
Yeah, Premier is not in there for some reason. You know what? I did not do Clark.
Who?
I didn't do Clark.
Okay, we'll get that done.
Yeah.
So good. Forget about them. I wanted to tag on to the evaluation. Moving forward, does the board want to evaluate your legal and engineer like you do Infomark? Or do you want us to still, because ours is purely based on relationship and how we work well together.
Based on the discussion we just had 20 minutes ago. We have to.
I think if they're, yeah, who's their boss? That's who evaluates.
Nothing to report. United's not here. One of the issues I wasn't aware of until I had a conversation with Russ, and it kind of follows them not getting stuff done timely.
Right.
They don't have a production crew here. So normally when you're doing landscape, re-landscape redesign, you bring a separate production crew in to do that work. They're doing it with the existing staff.
What is production crew?
So, design build team, so when they're planning or doing new landscaping, usually a different crew comes in and does that work. I didn't realize until I had a conversation with Russ, they're doing it with the existing staff. Not usually how it's.
Are they doing it with existing staff or do they hire a third party vendor to come in? Cause I've noticed like in certain plants. That like when they're doing the flowers and different.
And they'll be subcontracted out.
Okay, all right, that's.
Say Maiden Court that we talked about. The reasons that wasn't getting done is because he didn't have existing staff to do it. They're still doing maintenance tasks. We had asked about adding a production crew and probably a conversation we need to have with Brett. So I think now that the mowing and maintenance is slowing down, he can do that. That's where you're seeing some of the work getting done.
But when it starts raining.
And they have production crews, but they're off-site, they're in Orlando. And it may be a month before they can get in here because they've got other stuff scheduled. So it's not like Maiden Terrace, hey, we need to get it done, by the end of the week. Although we kind of.
Yeah, I would.
Turn some screws to get that
discussion has to be right.
That's what I think. I think our expectation is things are gonna get done more timely. They're getting done.
So schedule performance is just not getting there based on the calendar that they've agreed to. It doesn't matter what, I don't care if you do a production or not, it's scheduled, right, to the quality expected.
Would that be the same thing as a landscape enhancement team number one?
Yes.
Okay, look at their proposal.
Reading the contract.
Because their proposal, which was incorporated into their contract, has that as a separated group from the regular staff.
Yes.
So
Most places
Most
have.
places do.
And that's an additional fee or that's part of the scope?
No.
It's
part of the contract.
Yeah, that's part of their scope.
That would explain a lot of things.
Because they're
Yes.
getting paid additionally from you all to do these items. You have 200,000 in your budget, so
I mean, if it's
you're getting paid to
it's
do
an
it.
industry standard, but if it's written in their contract, that's something different.
100%.
Yeah.
Do we have an inflection point now with Ivan Village coming online? Where we need to reevaluate that anyway?
Well, we did add money to the budget.
This one's don't have impeding their contract? Or
Well, yeah, they'd have to reevaluate that. The scope is gonna change. Now, maybe
We did that.
you've just been soliciting quotes from them for
As
the
we
additional
go.
phases that come on. We haven't recompleted the whole contract.
Most of that should be maintenance. As that gets turned over, to us, it's maintenance, it's not production and landscaping.
It was 210.
But we did allocate, they gave us, like, this is how much additional, that's what Greg was questioning 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yeah.
Where I went ahead at your budget left in, I don't know, like 300,000 or something, but then they cut it down and said it would be about 200 or 150. Something like that. So you're gonna have about 50,000 left in that landscape contract. We kind of inflated it because they didn't have the actual numbers yet.
Which is good. We need it for palm trees.
Oh, okay. Palm trees it is.
So yes, I think that's a conversation we need to have. So we had it with Joel and we'll move forward and have a conversation with Brett. So
What's the capital expiration date of their contract? You know, I've got it open. I didn't know. Was it a 3-year? I think it was.
It's either 3 or 5, but I'm pretty sure it was a 3.
And there could be like a 3-year and then there's like.
Yeah.
You have
2
options.
1-year extensions or something, is that? No, we don't typically do that in the landscape, do we?
I don't recall. I think we did.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Even if we didn't recompete it, I would. The first year was, that was kind of the date, that was the dating phase where, hey, we were happier than what we had before.
Yeah.
But now we seem to be coming up, I'm hearing from you more and more often at meetings. of
It's
challenges.
The stuff eventually gets done, and this goes back to what you're saying. It's just taking a long time. And now I can understand why it's taken a long time. We need another crew in here to go ahead and do this. Because I gotta tell you, I mean, Charles, you and I can go ahead and get a little truck around and blow the bushes up and I'd be finishing a lot of the stuff on a weekend. So if there's another crew that was doing it, they could do it.
Charles, don't get me started, please.
Please make this out.
See Tom and Charles.
That's why some of them.
No, it's not true.
It was signed December 23rd, just trying to see the term,
I've got it. It's 3-year term starting in this,
December of 23.
So next year, December of 26, it would be officially up.
it's a 3-year term with 2 1-year renewals.
Okay.
That's
Well,
But that's the board's option.
well, so let me back up the schedule here, guys, because we're about to go into budget season. We're gonna have to do it anyway. This is the only contract that I'm aware of that doesn't align with our fiscal year. We
That
make
is
a conscious effort to do that.
That is correct.
So it would be in our interest, if nothing else, at minimum to align their contract to the
Just
fiscal
to-
year,
yeah.
number one. Number two, if we're thinking at all, not suggesting it, that we're gonna go to RFP, that's a conversation we need to be having now to filter into our budget cycle, because that took us a while
right.
to go through that process. Or if we're only thinking about, do we need to do contract modifications for clarifying language? Because hey, we saw some stuff that's gray area, whatever. We're in budget cycle. This is not a ethereal thing.
Agreed. If you want to go out to RFP, then I would say you need to do that in January.
This gender.
Yes.
We need to
And
make a
then-
decision on it, yeah.
Yeah, decision, because it's gonna take 2 months, 3-month process, which would put you right up against budget to be able to put numbers in the budget. And then we would initially, what I would recommend, like we've done all others, is if you do go through the RFP process and everything, you award to start October 1. And that way it's aligned with your fiscal year. Or if you're not gonna want to go out to bid, which is fine, then instead of, we would move their contract up 2 months and go to October of 26 as opposed to December of 26. Yeah.
Are there any substantive changes you all would, I'm putting you on the spot, you haven't thought about this question, but that you would put into the contract if you were to do it over again? I'm trying to think, is there a rework of this, or hey, is the solicitation good? Just if we decide to go to
Be
RFP,
the
put it back
enhancement
out.
team.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think the maintenance is good.
There's questions on mulch at the last meeting and.
Yeah, that was a communication error on their end on change of staff and how stuff was billed, and I mean, it didn't cost us any more money than we
No.
got, but it was proposed in the contract.
Okay.
So.
I would be definitive, but I think once you have that conversation with Brett and say, look, you're having your same crews do the enhancements, you need to have a different production crew doing it so they can stay busy doing the normal day-to-day stuff. I think that would solve.
And the reason some of that stuff got done quickly, Maiden Court and
Right.
Periwinkle that we talked about, Maiden Court, somebody else came in and did that work.
Right.
I mean, Tom, generally puts you on the split. Your general, what would your windage tell you if it's worth going back out to RFP? Or
So, for me, I know we gotta start this in January, and I get that. In the next months, we would have to, because we can always stop the RFP process. We've always changed our mind, right? Nothing. But in the next 2 months, if they can get, and because I think they can get their act together. I think they know celebration, and I think they can do it fine. It's just, there's just delays in certain things, that I see. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And I think this is the missing piece for me. But in the next 2 months, and we go ahead and say, we're not seeing any changes, well, then that's what we're gonna have to do. So we can definitely start the process. But I think we should see changes pretty quick if they do it. Now, if you, we go ahead and we're not gonna mess with that, right?
tell them that we're just having a 5-minute conversation, whether or not to go to RFP or not. I imagine you're gonna get a different.
We probably get 2 teams in here, right? I mean,
I mean, there's an overall performance score very good on this, so. Until I see something that says marginal or unsatisfactory.
Yeah, and I would say the maintenance side, they're pretty good. They do a pretty good job on the maintenance side. Where they have lacked is kind of the warranty work, replacing plants, and it's that lack of that.
they honor the warranty, but they're slow.
Yep.
There's never an argument. In some cases, I think they over warranty some things.
Oh, they absolutely have.
Yeah, they have, which is why our budgeted, it's held in check.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just when we get those, if we're gonna redo certain areas or fill in something, that's where it slows down.
Yeah, And I have a better understanding why after I had the conversation, and that's why.
Right.
They need a dedicated staff to do that, so.
So I think it's something we can.
Not fatal.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you're gonna talk about it? In January?
In January.
Okay,
I didn't-
if not, then the least we could do is see they're okay with bumping that up 2 months to
I think we should do that
the
anyway.
finalization.
I think we should do that anyways, put that in
Okay.
play.
Um, and then it becomes at October of 26. If you don't go out to bid, then it becomes up to you if you want to do the 1 year extension or not.
Right.
Okay.
And the good thing too, I'll just throw it out because I was looking, even though they're optional years for going into year 4 and year 5, which would be 26 and 27, they're priced optional years. They're
Stays
not
the same.
renegotiable.
Do they go up 1
There's a
year?
percentage, there's.
No, they stay, they stay the same as year 3. There's escalation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
2 to 3, but 3, 4, and 5 are all the same.
Same.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Which is a good thing to lock in today's environment.
The only difference in that, Greg, would be the Island Village fees.
Yeah.
As far as that price, when they.
Well, yeah.
Did they bid? We didn't ask them to bid annual escalations.
No, but we're gonna
No,
assume it goes under that contract, so.
yeah,
does
so
not
it would
increase.
be that additional
So
under
is
there.
the ask from the board to specifically have Carrie reach out to them, address the performance of the special plan, special ops team, coupled with the contract ending modification of 10-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or 9:30, so.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that was the ask.
Mark Engineering. I don't remember. I know the one knock was, and some of that came out of the RFP process. I will tell you, Mark seemed a little confused about getting the pond RFP done. And I think he sent Angel a document that this really is an RFP, and I reached out, and it needs to be a formal RFP, and maybe it was a lack of understanding of what the board was asking for. But I think Mark and I worked together.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so he has a document that got submitted now, but when I did that evaluation, there was a little question on timeliness of it, I think, so
Where are we with that? Where?
he's got it done. I think Jan was reviewing some of it, so.
Yeah, and I've got the contract in here included.
There's something in the board package that you're referring to.
Yes.
That was just.
That's just the draft contract, but we're talking about the RFP. Is it completed?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, we
Yeah, I
followed
think it is.
the template that Carrie was able to dig up. We've got some dates. You go through real quick. I don't know if this has been shared with the board at this point.
Yeah, I think he should.
No,
What he said.
No, it hasn't been.
Shared.
No, y'all just finished it the other day. right?
Yeah, I think yesterday.
It wouldn't be able to be packet.
So, yeah, so the RFP would be issued on December 29th. It gets advertised, but this Friday, so 10 days later, it ends up in the paper. Package is available for pickup starting the 29th. Then on the 12th of January is deadlines for questions. The 16th of January is proposal submittals deadline for the bid opening. And then at your next meeting on the 27th would be the potential award of contract if we decide to.
The level of effort required from them picking up the board packets until at least the 12th. I'm just worried the holidays are in the middle. Is that realistic? Is that kind of?
Well, we've already got 3 that have seen the project, seen my initial cost estimates. I do have an updated bid form that's similar to that, but I've kind of broken it out where the contractor can simply go in there and put a unit price per linear foot for any of the ponds and for the different categories of severity. Have not shared that with the 3 that we've been dealing with at this point.
Yeah, it can't be shared with them until we advertise. Once we advertise it, we can shoot out the project manual to whoever.
Yeah.
An abundance of whoever. And then obviously there'll be some that pay attention to the newspaper advertisements and then they'll want to come and pick it up. But we can also send it to them, Greg, to answer your point, digitally. Instead of having to physically come and get
I'm
it.
just worried about
Yeah.
people working.
No, agreed.
It's
No.
not realistic.
100%.
No, they're in the process of requesting me email if you want it more.
Yeah.
And Jerry, please don't copy.
I think it should all be digital because otherwise you got the map, the form, they need the spreadsheet digitally. So I think
Yeah.
if someone calls and asks, hey, I'd like a package, we can just get an
Send it.
email to them.
Yep.
There's no benefit to having a hard copy.
There's really not.
Mine was more around working around the holidays, but if
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks is enough, regardless of how they pick it up, then that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, we could run into the issue where it is around the holidays because part of it is they need to physically come and see the site and look at every pond and all of that. So that might be a little bit, but it shouldn't be, but we'll see.
I guess we had initially maybe thought we'd get some vendors to tonight's meeting, but I guess it'll be the January meeting. I've kind of told Ferguson and Western Green that
If proposals are due and they'll be in their
Yeah.
January agenda, Carrie will do a board summary for you all, just a snapshot of what you received. And then we won't include them in the agenda because they're probably gonna be too big. But we'll be sending them out additionally, put the board summary maybe in the agenda. We'll do that. Those two that you got, are they actually manufacturers or are they doing the work? Cause I was confused because Western Green is actually a manufacturer.
yeah, both them and Ferguson are suppliers, manufacturers.
Do they do the work?
But they work with vendor or subcontractors to do.
So they would sub it out.
Yeah, preferred contractors. When we met with Ferguson, he said we have preferred contractors that we usually use.
Okay. So,
So yes, they're not.
so who's coming to the meeting? The manufacturers or the subs?
They may bring the subs with them.
Okay.
But definitely the manufacturer.
Cause I would think you'd want to meet the subs as opposed not to the manufacturer. That was what it was a little weird for me.
Whether they can, one thing's the bid number, the other is do they have the capacity to pull it off, or what's quality of team? I mean, that
Right.
really is an element of it.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna
But
see
if-
the manufacturer.
If they're bidding, they should bring, and they want to win it. They should bring everybody.
It's a detriment to them. I mean, if they don't. wanna show
Right,
up,
that's what I'm saying.
To do the work, then.
Yeah, no,
that's a black
right.
box.
Mark, in those conversations you have with them.
Yes, it'd be.
Yeah.
Mark's been the point of contact on most of that, so maybe you had that conversation with them and just say.
Yeah, I actually had a conference call on, I think it was Friday with Ferguson, and they had, I think it was Exact Contracting on the line as well. That would be their preferred.
And is there a pre-qualification form that goes along with this to know what they're?
It depends on, I haven't seen the actual RFP, but it's whatever he put in there of what they're.
I mean, at what size, and part of my ignorance, but what size of a contract value do we have to get them to fill out a pre-qualification form, if any? Like 20 grand, I get it, but $1 million, yeah, I don't know if you can handle that, so I need to know. What's your revenue, what was your last size, what's the last project, give me 2 references, I mean, whatever that pre-qual
Yeah,
is.
is any of that in there,
I
Mark?
want
Do
to
you
know.
ask for references and their
It's too big. of a
personnel?
scope.
Their,
If it's that big as an RFQ, and then we do a listing of personnel. But this template was from another CDD that did similar work.
There's gotta be some kind of RFQ to it before the RFP, if it's this big, cause it's too large to take a risk on.
Generally, I thought we had enough information of that kind of stuff for what we did for the landscaping solicitation. We're asking for references, and we had time ahead of time that we had the opportunities, board members, to go call the references.
Yeah.
yeah, that should all
I think
be.
all of us did, yeah.
Yep, that should all be in there.
Yeah.
Requesting references, the size of your business. Some ask for their financials. By law, they don't have to submit
Yeah.
their
You
financials.
usually don't want it to be public. record.
Yeah,
I understand.
because it's public,
Usually, like
but
other jobs of
You can
similar
tell
size,
their
yeah.
bonding Capacity or on.
exactly, yeah. Most is, if you want to know proximity to the project,
Right.
right? Do you have an office there?
Yeah,
Or are you coming from down south? So there's those types of things. So if there's certain things that the board generally that you think you want to know,
I don't, can you send out what?
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
Yep.
That's a draft, and that was our thought was that you review it.
Yeah, that's fine, if you send it to us, that's great.
Because we have time to
Yeah.
modify it before it needs to get published.
Include me, Mark.
so I would send that out to everybody, Mark, and put it in the Word format, so then they can put their own red lines and you can follow the red lines. Because the legal aspect isn't gonna change. It's just in the scope he already has, so it's just other qualifications that you guys are wanting specifically as a board.
Yeah, if you don't wanna set them here and then, negotiate after the negotiation, so.
That is right.
I also think too, in terms of like the miscommunication for the RP and stuff like that. The action item after the meeting list would eliminate that because it's
Mhm.
previous, but what the, no, and then we could take action right away. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing.
That's everything.
Last of that is just,
No, with the next one.
I got legal last list, so.
Who?
Legal.
No.
He's
Vendor
gonna-
evaluations. Are you done with vendor?
Oh, I still have.
Oh, legal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'll go to the next one. Legal, I was like, what?
I was answering, so.
That's okay. I've been
I
meeting up this
understood.
month. It's okay.
You were the first one. Yeah, kudos to you.
Yeah, very good evaluation, excellent relationship with Jen and her staff. Always very responsive. Just a joy to work with.
Even though he berates her into not reading emails, so
Yeah,
she
even
can't
though I get in
bill.
charge for the field reports. Although now if I'm contributing to them, maybe they'll let me.
I did ask her for a signed affidavit from Jay where she asked me to add his to the list, so she wouldn't charge for him either, so.
All right, that's all of those.
Right,
Let me ask from a board perspective, do we feel like we wanna, if these are gonna be issued to the vendors, I feel like the board should be approving these and saying, hey, yeah, we concur with this, or does any board members want to put comments in on it or anything? I don't have any changes necessarily, but if it's coming on behalf of the district, I feel like we should be formal.
I mean, if we're all in agreement, great. If we wanted to add a couple things, we could, but didn't we designate management to go ahead and do the vendor report?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I just, if it's coming on behalf of the district, I want to make sure we're all clear that we're in agreement. I appreciate.
oh, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
If we're in agreement, great. I don't think we
Agree
should.
with the evaluation.
Yes.
That's the point of
Yeah,
doing.
that's why I didn't want to move on. I want to make sure we're,
I agree.
whether we're doing it through a vote or hey, yay verily, or however we want to do this on.
No, I'm in agreement. I think it's an honest evaluation, especially when we talk about ponds and landscape and whatever. That's exactly what I see. Anybody else? All in agreement?
I think we're back to engineer. Engineer.
Yeah, engineer, let's finish your 2025 report.
Yeah, so you got my monthly report, a lot of Island Village stuff in there. Russ and I do have a walkthrough tomorrow. Had me to look at the landscape tracks and I guess the stormwater tract. From a landscaping perspective. Last week's meeting, they did ask if the board would consider turning over just those tracks. So that would exclude alleys and right-of-way shoulder tracks with the next. So they asked me to.
Jen, that was a very not quiet shaking of your head, sorry.
It's much easier to keep track if you do it by plat or by area. When you start taking pieces here and there, you end up developer's gone and you find a piece here or there that aren't done. I mean, it just from an ease of getting it done, it makes much more sense to do it by plat or by area.
And I don't understand how you can do an inspection for like an alley, for example, if everything isn't complete. The grading, the landscaping, everything isn't in there, you could have an issue going, you need to fix this. Well,
Or you drive over the alleys and mark them and you've already accepted.
They can do it by certificate of completion. Is that what they're getting at? They've got a certificate of completion for these areas, so it's ready for turnover?
It was certificate of.
Yeah, there's no certificate of completion on landscape areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just.
So I mean, I'm the parcel, I don't know if there's anything on the parcel itself, but.
Nothing with the county, the county you turn over the whole phase, certificate of completion with the county.
For the district, we want it in its entirety, or it's gonna be, it could be a potential maintenance nightmare if we're
Well,
piecemeal.
we can say we want to align with the county and take it in the same.
Is there any motivation for us to do it other than all or nothing? Is there any upside for us? Okay.
The conversation I had with Angela is, I'm not a fan of partial conveyance.
No,
And I can
it's
say the fact
Ever.
that
And
we
the
didn't do it, probably saved us a bunch of money on this most recent one.
that's.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
that was a big one. yes.
Mhm.
Tell them thank you for your suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my one question is there an engineer report in here somewhere? Am I missing?
Yeah,
Yeah, December
Page-
25 report, he's talking about
Page 79.
What page number?
79. Are you looking for March report?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in there, 79.
There it is.
Wonderful. Sorry, missed it. Go ahead. Got it.
And on the ponds as a whole, I think we pretty much exhausted research with the Water Management District on, all these golf course ponds that were not 100% sure who should be maintaining them. District is mowing and treating a handful of them, at least mowing one side of them. Reached out to Reedy Creek to see if they can assist on the pond at 417 and Celebration Ave there, the one that's fenced in. That appears to have been permitted through DEP, so we did a lot of research there. We found some plans that show it, but no permits. So Reedy Creek they've done some digging. They could not find it electronically, so they're actually going to their hard storage to see if they can find some information on
I
it.
love that you use the word microfiche in your report. That's.
You don't see that.
I remember
That anymore.
And I'm speaking with the water management district, they said everything you can find, everything we have, you have online. So there's really nothing more we can get out of the water management district. So once we get that last piece from Reedy Creek, it's determining what we want to do with the ponds. There are a handful of ponds that were transferred to the golf course for ownership and maintenance. They're still owned. Some of them are owned by the CDD. There are easements that the TCC gave to the CDD for maintenance. But does that, override the transfer responsibilities? I don't know.
The issues that, and part of what's taking so long is one, the water management district records are horrible. And what we've discovered is a lot of the permits are still in TCE's name. Looks like either they weren't transferred or it wasn't recorded. Given TCE's history, it seems like they weren't reported somewhere because it's not like them to not have turned those over when they turned over the ponds to the CDD. So, once we find out these final records, if there's nothing else out there, we gotta come up with a list of, these are TCC ponds that should be the permits conveyed to the district. And then we also have these outliers where the permits were somehow transferred to the golf course, but it's all one system. We want to do that. So we'll have to come back with a proposal for the board to look at and decide, is this something we want to do or not? And then once we get the permits done, then I did a sample agreement, I'm jumping ahead, sorry. But I just did sort of a sample agreement that we've done, which basically would say, hey, we have the permit and you're maintaining part of this, you need to make sure you're maintaining the permit conditions. Or vice versa, switching it to, you own it, but it's, your permit, but we're maintaining it. So, it's one of the ugliest I've seen. We have this situation in a number of older districts. But I'm very surprised that the permits are still in TCE's name. So we're gonna have to put together something with them and sort of, and ask them to convey it all these.
Does that include that Crow Pond at 417 or is that a separate?
That's the one.
That's an unknown, there's a couple easements there that TCC gave to DOT to maintain it because it primarily services 417. But as far as the actual permit itself and what it said, and if there was a transfer, we just don't have that.
So am I wrong to expect that this is not gonna take months, but this could take years? Because if we have to go to TCC, we know how quick they are.
Yeah, this is not,
This
and
is
that's part of why, Mark's gone to the point of, let's see if we have paper files. Is there anything anyone can find to show why some of these things happened or if the permits were ever transferred? I would think TCE would do it pretty quickly because they don't want to have liability.
You would think. I
But
wonder, is there a way to do it unilaterally?
That's what I was gonna ask. I mean, do we need to, I hate to sound naive in the question, do we need to do all the research? Can we just simply say, here's a correction document that realigns everything how we
it's a
think we should be
one-page, it's a one-page form. So once we figure out exactly ownership and that there's easements and everything else, and we don't need anything else from them, then it's like, yeah, let's put together a package. We need you to sign all these and transfer them to us because water management lost the paperwork. But we haven't gotten to that point because we have to make sure, Mark has done a ton of work looking for the easements and the plats, and it looks like we have access to everything. But the golf course ones are the biggest issue because they probably should not have any permits if the system is all the CDE system.
I'll just remind everyone that that particular pond that has the fountain in it is the one of my biggest concern.
On numbers up.
It has a fountain in it?
Yeah.
I know.
Downtown pond?
No,
No,
the golf course pond has a fountain in it.
Dave knows it by whole number.
I know, I put a lot of golf balls in it.
The one in North Village.
Pink house?
Hole 15.
That'll be a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't.
15.
The windmill.
15 is Far back, so. The castle's the other one, yeah. North Village?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of, Acadia.
Yeah, far back there.
The pond of Acadia.
Russ, you remember where the dog was staying? I know where the boards and like say, yeah, they've got more than one fountain, I think, in their ponds too.
Yeah, maybe.
The pink house, the big pink house.
Yes.
Yes.
The infamous.
It's kind of
The big house at the far end of it.
Yeah.
So it's not that long.
No, not that, no, the pond. Continue if you want.
No, we want to watch you.
As you're looking for the ponds, that's why this is taking so long, because going through the 30.
That's by the pink house.
Yeah.
That's the pink house. No, that's not.
No, the pink house is over.
No, that's the pink house.
The pink house, this is the pink house here with that pond. That's 16. I'm looking at 15, which is here.
This big castle one right on the corner. and It's
I don't even know.
Right?
it's a big pink house.
Purple house. I don't
It's a
know.
big white house.
It's the big house.
So, yeah, that's.
If you drive down the street, it'll jump out to you very quickly.
Anyway.
It's very thin too.
I haven't seen this
Yeah,
yet.
that's pond 8. It was transferred to the golf course. It's owned by the CDD.
Okay.
And there's an
So
easement.
we own that one?
Yeah, but the
Yes.
permits in the golf course name, which is not good. No, we should ask them to transfer it to us.
Should be a 50-foot.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, how are we gonna maintain the other side of the pond? That's golf grass and all
Typically why
that.
they give it
Oh.
to the pond or the golf course, because we have no access to get on the other side.
That's where we need an agreement that, because, and it happens with a lot of golf courses. We're doing something in.
But I will tell you, it's a nightmare because I have one district that they're like, okay, the golf course, your pond, as long as you maintain it, we're fine keeping it under our permit. But the other part is I've had other districts go, okay, well, we're gonna maintain from here to here. And you're gonna maintain from here to here, and it's a mess and it
Well,
looks
that's what we've been
so
doing.
disgusting.
I know, you have worked with Mark
Yeah, that's
quite a
good.
bit on who's doing which side of which.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't
ridiculous.
know how you divide water, like chemicals and. Make it, huh?
That's Moses.
They did.
You gotta get them out green.
Alright,
Okay, that's the pond issue.
okay.
So we'll come back with a proposal to you on what we think would be the best route as soon as we get this last piece of information.
Tom's gonna take it over how many years? does it take?
Well, I'd say
We
here.
announced it yesterday, so.
I know, it's gonna take a while. Listen, as long as we go to Disney, you can have grandiose ideas, but it's gonna be quick, but it always seems like. All right, anything else, Mark?
No, that's all I have.
Okay,
And
district
you're gonna
council.
distribute the RFP to the board.
Yeah, again, we said it just really to, I don't know if I have anybody's email address, but.
So you can send it to Carrie.
You sent it to me.
Yeah,
And
Carrie
you
can
can
send
take
it
it.
out.
Yeah.
Just
That
make
was
sure we
anybody
send
have
it out,
questions, you
in
can-
Word, tracking
Yeah.
And
and
same
legal.
I have it.
Okay, for me, eminent domain, I know I was asked for an update. I talk to them every month. And the reason we've not heard anything is they are redesigning along I-4. They changed the way they were originally doing it with the space in the middle for the train. They've taken the train out, so now they're doing something and now they're on their third redesign. So 2 of our parcels are on total hold that they need to redesign it. Actually, and then we have 2 easement parcels that also are in the redesign but they have had an appraiser come out and look at 2 of the parcels. So we've heard nothing, but we should get at least an initial offer, which then the eminent domain guys will get their specialists looking at it to come back with the counter.
They already put a sign up. In the middle of that track. For a carpool lane. I don't know, the speed lane or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
They already put the sign in and it's so funny, they're redesigning it and they already have
Yeah.
a sign up.
But this is like the 3rd redesign, and anyway, everything's been on hold, which is why it's been so quiet, but the appraisers have been out and looked at 2. And we did have one in a neighboring CDD where, they went to court and, they do the taking. What happens, they go to court and they get like almost an automatic taking. And the amount of money that's originally offered gets put either in the escrow with the court or goes to the eminent domain folks. And then they fight over the value in a separate proceeding.
I think
So
it should be $10 million.
That's right.
I'll go to 100. Yeah, you're a little more conservative than me.
So
All
that's where we go, and there may be some little ones where somebody else owns it and we have an interest. Generally, those interests are just because we have a CDD lien or something on it or notice it's CDD. So I may be coming to Tom as the chairman to be authorized just to sign things because we have to waive if we don't have any real rights. But if we have any easement rights or anything else, then it'll come before the board.
Yeah, I want to be clear that I'm not making final decisions unless the board is notified that it could be.
We would send something and say, yes, title and everything shows we have no interest other than we have a notice that we're a CDD on that parcel, so we don't have any claim to a certain.
Okay.
parcel. And that's coming up a lot in CDDs.
Okay.
That is the one thing, and the other things are really just to show that we're doing work, since some of the comments were just so people know what we're working on. The pond maintenance agreement just took a draft we've used and modified it to work for Celebration, so as soon as we figure out who needs to maintain the ponds, we've got a form to get working on and make it work for each of the different situations.
Pond slopes.
No, that's next.
No, this
that's
this would be maintenance under the pond map of.
Oh, okay, okay.
Who's maintaining what pond.
I got it.
what they're Doing. The RFP is the RFP contract. And then the last thing is Mattamy, we, on the post-closing agreement. Dealing with Carrie realized that we didn't have included in there the streetlight repairs where they had promised to. Make a change. And so council agreed to the language that was agreed upon. Carrie signed off on it, so we can, and this will close in the next day or so. We're
Okay.
just about done with it, but since Tom signed, just wanted to make sure the board ratified that they're doing it. And I think Carrie said that they're actually doing some of the work now and not waiting to see if we have a problem.
Yeah.
And they have put the street sign already, so the street sign is kind of a null. We're good.
Need a motion to ratify that.
Yes,
Any motion? All right.
you had to ratify.
A second. All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And other things just for follow-up, the county, I talked to the county attorney and he's heard nothing from his staff on the Verge sign issue. I call him regularly and he said, this is the way we work, we're slow.
You tell that your folks are coming in January and.
I commented
Am
that it was getting, but I was getting a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll follow up with him. I also asked on the status of the e-bike ordinance and it's still in the research.
Research.
He said there has been no movement yet to, propose any new ordinance or legislation. He'd let us know if he hears anything. That's it.
Okay.
So on that, we had talked when our state house rep showed up in August.
Rep Spencer, I actually emailed a follow-up to him. This is his first session now. And the session doesn't start till mid-January, but there is a House bill and a Senate bill that has a couple things about e-bikes. It's mostly e-motorcycles, so I just sent you have to contact him, you just go through an email online. It's not a personal thing. But I just reminded him that he visited and the CDD is very interested due to accidents and all, and could he maybe help bolster the current bills to see if there's any way of adding.
You got a sponsored acknowledgement?
No,
I have his staff aide's information if you'd like those.
it goes through the staff aid, so I will let you know if I hear anything. But just to let you know, there is a House bill and a companion Senate bill, and basically it takes the motorcycle looking e-bikes, and if it goes more than 28 miles an hour, they're classified as a motorcycle now, so then they have to get follow motorcycle laws, so that would help on some of the more competitive looking bikes out.
But does any of that clarify that the big gap, as I still understand it, is can they ride on sidewalks? That seems to be the.
That's, the only thing it does is it talks about trails, that if you're on a trail, you have to watch out for people and honk your horn before you run over. It says it a little nicer than that, but that's the only thing it talks about, and nothing about scooters.
Well, I guess that was my intent or my hope was we were gonna get recommendations for, I certainly want to understand what they're putting out there and already contemplating, but with the situations we've seen, I think we've got some very definitive, hey, it would make sense if. Have those gone to him, even if he hasn't acknowledged them?
No,
Okay.
just told them where the concern of riding on sidewalks and the multiple people riding down roads were the major concerns, injuries on sidewalks.
Yeah, I think that legislation's targeted the DUI guy who's getting around having a driver's license. Oh, I don't need a driver's license.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and my point is, I would like for us to be pushing a message as opposed to receiving, hey, what are they thinking about? There's
Okay.
specific stuff.
Sure, okay,
Yeah.
and I did specifically say the riding on sidewalks and the multiple parties riding down roads and blocking traffic and potentially causing accidents.
Well, the biggest thing I think I've heard recently, to the extent we're responsible for this, is on the roadways themselves, I was a little surprised. I was a lot surprised by the workshop with the sheriff of, can't do anything about that. And that tends to be the biggest thing right now is the riding on the roadways. The sidewalk stuff, I feel like is kind of calmed down.
No,
Okay. It's, I just, I
None of that has calmed down, except for the craziest behaviors on the road.
is on the roadways. So
But
if there are things, I didn't hear anything that the sheriff brought up and said, hey, I can't enforce that because. I just heard,
weird. I know Osceola County is different than Hillsborough, but like in my community, HOA banned them. They can't ride them anywhere in our community on the road, the sidewalks, nowhere.
They're private
private
roads.
roads.
Yeah, Osceola County is working on it, and there's a bunch of counties and cities working on ordinances,
But
and nothing
the
is out there.
city owns the sidewalks, not the roads. Obviously, the county owns.
in the alleys.
Yeah, couldn't the CDD ban them and then get into an agreement with the HOA to enforce it?
No,
No?
no, I think we'd have to ask the county to enact an ordinance, because the county is the one that's got the authority. I think we'd have to ask the county to enact an ordinance.
there's no way we can enforce it.
No, you definitely can't enforce it. I was thinking you could enter into an agreement with the HOA and them
We
as
don't
your
have police
enforcer.
powers, because these are actual laws. So
Okay.
you'd be.
You could get them for speeding all day, every day. It's past me every day.
Oh, it was crazy where I live. They would popping willies going down the road and they'd pull out in front of people like I almost hit them. But our whole community banned them. They're not allowed in our community at all.
Greg, I'll follow up and give them a specific. Riding on sidewalks and what else are the target things to get?
I mean, I'm struggling because the stuff in the roadway sounds like it's the biggest, that's the
Yeah.
things that I hear.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to understand why there isn't enough to enforce what's out there right now for what we have been seeing as a community. But then the sheriff comes in and says, well, I don't have clear legislation. So you don't have clear legislation of what? To be able to, and I know he doesn't want to write tickets or what.
And we just can't force them to do what they're.
Yeah.
I mean.
And even
that's-
the new legislation and these, motorcycle like bikes, says, well, the first violation, you'll get a notice and then you'll.
It's just, they're not interested. This is not a police force. Okay, they're not interested in enforcing the helmet law. It's just not being done, and we're not gonna get it done.
Have we asked though? We asked them to
Yeah,
patrol.
they
this.
did.
I sat here for 10 minutes until he stared at me and basically told me to shut up with his eyes.
He said, what do you want me to do? You want me to arrest a 13-year-old kid?
Let me rephrase that.
He said, do you want me to give a pin?
No, I
said.
All right, time out. I was here. I heard that part. Let's go back because we had somebody say, hey, go over there, that stop sign and write a ticket. They did.
Yes.
Have we asked them through Jasmine maybe, or whatever that procedure is, to say, go over to the school and give a ticket to somebody without a helmet?
It's not, so sheriffs can do that, and he said, if nobody wants to get it done.
Well, I mean, I wonder if we have, why haven't we tried to ask the detail to do it like we did with the stop sign?
I think because the premise is the sheriff said that they won't do it. So if we ask the detail.
No, I just, let's ask them.
We can ask.
And guys, I've said it before, I'm willing, like, detail, it's a separate topic. Spending for details, I'm willing to spend money for details if we know they're gonna go out and do enforcement, strict enforcement on that. Whether they write tickets or not, I don't care, but.
I think our sentiment changed an awful lot after that workshop.
Well, we did.
All right, anything else, Jen? All right, yeah, we'll leave it. We're moving on to business items.
Already did.
Yeah, we already talked about A. B is the OCSO contract.
We have a contract?
It's on this list.
It was a discussion, of what we wanted, what we were in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just.
So C, discussion, this one I'm confused about, discussion of memorial with Gary Moyer's name.
So, no, hold on. The reason that's on the agenda is because, and it was left off originally and Greg
Oh, okay.
graciously reminded me because this board, first you wanted, Gary Moyer you were all about doing, but you wanted Greg to reach out to Mrs. Moyer first.
Right.
Because she is sensitive to those things.
Absolutely.
He did reach out. She said that that's fine. So now what do you guys want to put in his name?
And I also, so Dory said she'd be very supportive. She already sent pictures because my recommendation was we got a plaque. I think I quoted one for us about bucks, 1,100, whatever. What I said she was about, I'd say up to $1,100 we could get a plaque.
Okay.
That would have his pictures. I couldn't forward it to you if you want from them. But it's, I want to say it was about 2 feet long. It was a was a clear acrylic, but it had like a silver, I don't know, I'm not a friggin' design guy. It was a nice plaque. They could have two pictures on it. And she said she'd be happy to come in whenever if we wanted to do that January, February meeting, whatever, but it would be an expenditure to do that. And then we had only talked about it at the last meeting. We didn't vote on anything, so that was.
I thought we were in agreement.
The board was in agreement.
Well, we have to officially,
Yeah.
I get it.
So he was reaching out to Dory first to make sure she would even, Gary was super private.
Yeah,
So
No, I get it.
And I also talked to several other folks who were close to Gary and close to Dory to help make sure that there's an appropriate response from the community to show up here if we're gonna do this. I don't want to just be in Dory. I would like to.
if you do a plaque, are you talking about dedicating this conference room to him and putting the plaque there?
Yeah, I thought that was.
Okay. Is that,
So I'd say for, give it a flex for shipping or whatever, give it up to $1,200 for a plaque.
I'll make the motion. Go a
will
second.
you send that, what you found? I can't, I don't know
Is
if
it
you,
just the plaque with his name on?
it's plaque and I think additional, the plaque that he's talking about, you can put pictures and stuff in it.
If we want to do the other one first, let's come back to this and bring it up.
Okay.
So plaque dedication to name the conference room.
On another Dwayne Wade incident. Something.
Not to exceed
All right.
$1,200. All right, now you can call it.
Oh, I made the motion. He seconded.
Do it, Jack.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There's the plaque. That's the one.
All right.
We talked about the sidewalks.
Yes.
Yeah. The pro is the meter. Yeah, if you send that, we can have Jasmine order it. Tomorrow.
And is the intention, well, we'll figure out the delivery time. We don't need to rush into it. We'll probably target in February.
I would say February
Yeah.
and maybe have a whole, we can plan something, whole thing around it, send an invite out or something.
Yeah, we could do something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you not want to dedicate something for Pat Lawson too?
I think they said Crow.
Yeah.
No, we talked about dedicating the pond.
Yes.
You were here too.
I was here, but I thought y'all asked Crow to do something.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was Crow's responsibility.
No.
The conversation was whether or not you wanted me to go to the Crow meeting and notify them that we were doing this, not
Right.
necessarily asking.
Correct, because
Okay, got it.
we're already in agreement.
Notification's been provided.
So Pat Watson, what pond?
It's East Lawn Celebration Avenue,
Dedicated.
right next to the church.
Are we setting up precedent?
Well,
Like Reinhardt's already been
who was Reinhardt?
There you go. He was somebody who was, they said he was a veteran and he was very popular.
Pat Watson dedication pond at East Lawn and where?
Celebration Avenue, she's next to the Catholic Church.
Does it have a plan?
Do we all get?
Are you doing the same plaque? Do I
Sure,
order two of
we will.
those?
Unfortunately, what has to happen?
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I order two of those plaques?
No, because I think what we do for that pond is just a small plaque that we put like in
On
the
the
ground.
ground.
Yeah, it was, I mean,
Like a brass?
yeah, and we do that for some of the trees and stuff.
Tabs.
Yeah,
the garden stuff that they-
The first one should be.
Put it out in the water.
Was it?
No. Next thing you can put it in the grass can grow over.
No, they put it in front of trees. They have.
So small plaque not to exceed how much?
The fence.
500.
Yeah.
Number two. The bronze one. Yeah, prefer that.
How much is that one?
They're both about the same. They're both.
No, but see, that's okay. That's something I'll go over all the time about something, no picture, whatever.
This was for the Gary one. There were two options.
Oh, there are two options.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that's okay.
Oh, that's fine too.
Which one do you guys like better?
I like this one because the bronze one just seems to be when you have a dedication, it's bronze. The other one was kind of like, yeah.
I like platinum for me. The redemption, just.
You what?
I like platinum.
I'll send you the wrong one.
All right, so do we need to make a motion for that?
Do you want to do the same one for?
No, this is a
No,
little.
something different. We'll just make it smaller than, yeah. just make it
This is in the
small.
ground.
So I'll make the motion.
Pat Watson dedication pond at East Lawn and Celebration Avenue, small bronze plaque to go in the ground not to exceed $500.
Right.
Any public comments? Okay. It wasn't on the agenda. That's
Right.
all. Okay, our public isn't commenting.
Make sure it's weather resistant. It's gotta last for, 50 years.
Thank you. Thanks for commenting.
Yeah, so we have your lawyer in attendance.
Who made that motion?
I made the motion.
I second it.
Karen seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Discussion of pro ARC, we're Connor talked about that.
Yeah.
The CD sidewalks, consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Well, the sheriff thing, do we want to go back?
Oh.
Yeah, we kind of jumped right onto that one.
Well,
What do we want to do with what, and I'm talking specifically on the deputy and the details. What do we want to do? I'll start by saying I can't support continuing to spend $250,000 a year. Especially when the guy sat here and said, you don't need this.
Yes.
I also look at the fact that financially, as I take everything else out, just a numbers play. Except for the first year where we have an upfront cost of the 216,000 and about 96,000 of that was a one-time cost. Once I get into the recurring, it's about 110,000 a year versus 240,000 a year. So I'm just looking at purely hours for hours. If we're thinking about staying with a level of effort, purely financially, it makes sense for us to go to a full-time person because we're going to stay over $100,000 to get the same level of effort of 40 hours per week. I'm not sure that I even support details at all. The only thing and I've struggled with this one. The only thing I'm looking for is if we have specific things, whether it's if we come to an agreement as a board that we want to do like a Halloween again, which I'm not even sure that I'm there on that one, or if we wanted details for targeted things like an e-bike thing, or if we thought there was some district property issue as opposed to a general enforcement issue, I might be in support. Other than that, I'm struggling to say why we keep it all.
And so the problem I have, and I'm in agreement with you on this, because I just heard no at the meeting. And it was it's just like, because we kind of presented our concerns. And it was no across the board. And even with cherry on top saying, we need this. And I'm like, it's just very frustrating. I don't know if the community would understand, but boy, if you could just listen to this.
I know the community's not gonna like the thought of losing the deputies, but the effectiveness of the deputies is just not there. We're not reducing. And stuff.
And I also look back at the fact we've been aboard for the past 4 years. Jack, you and I have been for the past 4 years of raising. This will be the first time we're coming back to the community saying, I know you don't like it, but I saved you $250,000, or I can use the $250,000 for other security related things. If we wanted to talk cameras like we did a couple of years ago, or other things.
Reserves.
Or reserves, 100%.
Especially, I don't know if we're gonna cold turkey, cut it off as of tomorrow, or you want us to slow it down a little bit. I don't know.
The other benefit though is again, that presence. It's like having an SRO at a school. You just got somebody there and kids know, and everybody knows how they can play. And I do think it will make a difference because.
You mean if we get a full-time guy?
If we get a full-time guy. So I kind of shifted a little after I heard his all stuff too, because.
Why did we discontinue the full-time sheriff?
Because they came in early 2020 and it was a bit of a food fight. The real answer was the sheriff's office was short-staffed and wanted their deputy back to put into the general rotation, because the other answer was they were already doing that without telling us and leaving us paid for it. The official answer was you can't officially task him to do anything. Even to the point of, hey, I want you to write that ticket, but hey, I'd like you to patrol these areas. I was like, no, you can't do that. So.
And they told us we couldn't name the times.
Correct. It was.
But now they're saying we can.
Well, we're not sure yet.
They're not adverse to us. What I heard the other day is they're not adverse to us providing tasking like we've been doing with details. Like I said, the reason they gave in that meeting in 2020 was not the real reason. It was
But okay, so go to the dedicated the dedicated person, right? But that person is also not going to do anything either. Right? He's not going to go ahead and address the concerns that we have. And so what are they going to be doing?
Remember, the sheriff, the representative flat out said for a full-time deputy, he revised against it. It wouldn't be effective and it's too much money. He's a terrible salesman, by the way.
Well, that's,
I mean,
you're paying way too much for what you're saying. I mean.
But why would he do that? He doesn't even
To be
recommend.
fair to him, he's looking at it from, he's a public servant perspective of tax dollars. He's not,
No, he
he's
was
not
looking
there
at
to
from-
sell services. He
He was
doesn't make
looking at it from our perspective. I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's his exact
I
point.
mean, he did say. that. He
He
did
was
say.
looking at it from
Many
the
times.
standpoint, the
So-
issues we had in celebration. There's not a lot of reporting or crime. I mean,
I,
what are we protecting now?
the value I find, a lot of it becomes exactly what Shell said, is the presence and the consistency, the connection.
Come on, how
But
many
we have
times?
presence now and it's not effective.
Yeah, but you knew who, I mean, I don't know, but when Jerry was here and I didn't love Jerry, but I interfaced with Jerry many times. He did some favors. He was there. Everybody
That's the
knew him.
problem. That's
They knew what he
exactly
could
the
do.
problem with Jerry.
That's different for
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He's so friendly that he went to all the groups to talk.
What is it, the English one building?
Correct. Instead of actually doing police work or sheriff work. That was the problem. That's how we got away.
Sure, Jerry gave 2 tickets a month. That's it.
really?
Don't
Yes.
Details at night more than full-time sheriff would provide.
We heard we had no crime problem. That's what I.
That's what it said.
It's a good
So
little-
Not sugarcoating it.
I am willing to make a motion that we would suspend the details.
Suspend details?
Altogether
Yes.
for the short term, because he did, there is an increased police presence, no question.
Yes.
I see it. So that's the good news. I would disagree with you for the moment. Actually.
We have a motion, you need a second
Was that a
for
second?
discussion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second,
All right. Discussion.
Are we gonna have another meeting with the sheriff though? Isn't that coming up?
I don't know what it's gonna do.
The county.
No,
It's a holiday.
We have a holiday discussion.
Management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't with the sheriff himself, though. That was staff.
Sheriff and
Staff.
fire department. I'm sorry.
That's scheduled?
No.
Yeah, we said after the holidays, we were gonna reach out
He would-
and try and schedule a date.
So that we didn't kick the can till October.
Yes.
I would not expect the sheriff himself to show up. And he was not, because he popped up at the meeting the same time that our house rep showed up. He said the same thing. He said, I don't even know that, kind of what the major said, I don't even know why I'd support it because I'm gonna try to find you additional staffing. And I think I could do this with what I'm telling the county I need.
That's what I said. That's what it appears to be happening.
My only, I agree with you, my only hesitation is if we vote on this now without talking about it any more than the 7 minutes we just talked about it, eventually there will be, you want to talk about pitchforks in a meeting, there will be, oh my God, what just happened?
Listen, we had a whole meeting about this 2 weeks ago. I agree. That was broadcast.
Literally, what I would do is if everyone came in with pitchforks, I would have the workshop put on the TV. So before anyone comments, listen to this.
But we blew our budget in one day. We haven't had the detail and the world hasn't fallen and I've seen police presence. Why, well, let's see where
That's-
they get to. Eliminate the noise for a minute. Hold for a moment, wait till the next board meeting and see.
Let's wait a couple months. And, and see what changes. And we're
You're
noticing.
saying it's for suspended for, say, 3 months and see what happens?
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, just.
And look, do we have any details going on in the next couple of weeks?
Oh, yeah, so they fill in on 30 days in advance.
Okay, so whenever that end of that, then let's
Actually,
for 2 months.
Get through the holiday, to your point.
Right.
Get that.
And maybe we go to maybe just certain periods of time, week here, week there, and then that's it,
Well, I was also gonna say, I would certainly recommend as we think going into the next meeting, there are gonna be targeted times where we know we have issues where we can always go ahead and predict whether or not we do Halloween as one. School getting out both at Christmas and
Summer.
summer, that first week or two, kids get creative with what they do. That would probably be a good time.
We found one.
Especially after Christmas, whenever I get e-bikes.
So do you want to revise your motion to give a certain time frame that you want to suspend?
I don't think we have a time frame. We suspend it and then we just look at it. And then
No, I
reinstate
mean,
it.
were we waiting 30 days?
Well,
After
The 30.
whatever's already, after whatever's committed, we suspend. After whatever's committed, we suspend it.
We're already scheduled for what, the end of January?
I'm looking right now. Yeah, you had shifts in January that are already filled.
So whatever that last date is,
So just tell Jasmine don't send any in for February.
Yeah.
So in January, she won't send any details.
And if we don't send any, we don't get charged anything, correct?
Correct. Yeah. It's not like a revolving like contract or anything.
So we cancel. We canceled 21 details in December to make up for what we spent for holiday.
But I don't think we're gonna do that again. I really don't.
And to be clear, this is not affecting the tri-party agreement deputy that we have.
No,
I want to put that out. I know everybody's saying no, I just want to make sure everybody's,
that is correct. It shouldn't, I should say that.
we're under contract on that, we have to.
What's like 3?
You could also sign in and put it up on the big board.
let's do. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the motion, does somebody want to call it?
No.
So it's
The
suspending
motion to
immediately until we
suspend
send
all
it back up.
details after what's already.
I'm sorry.
So have a motion. Second, all in favor?
Dave made it, Shell seconded it.
Okay, not you, Jack. You can't keep getting on.
No, you can't make motions.
Huh?
We already
I made the motion.
All right.
Oh, no, wait, it was the abbreviated. We changed it to termination date.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now,
What time is it? About night.
Yeah.
You guys are in trouble.
yeah, exactly.
Did we already go? Yeah.
No,
Call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second time I called the vote. All right, here you go.
And you're suspending details that have not been scheduled.
Versus.
Correct.
Yeah, so essentially Jasmine just wouldn't send in her January for February.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm open that right now.
Right.
I didn't break it until I joined the board. Okay, Jack, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Not really, it is. We're talking about.
Well, go through the
So are we done with, well, we're done with business items at this point?
Yeah, you're on consent.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
I have one comment
Consent agenda?
on the consent agenda. If we go to, I gotta find it now. It is page 199. First item under field, which is field management. I don't understand the note, which is contract budgeted for 98,000 per month. December increased to 111,000 per month. That would equate to an annual budget of 1.3 million, but we only got a budget of 1.2 million. So what happened the past month?
Where are you looking? 190 what? 199.
199.
That was the pay for my raise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russ's bonus.
Yeah. That probably had to pay for it out of my check.
199 under field, first line item, field management.
Oh, this is from last.
Oh, that's to note in there because you approved in 24 the other position, the GoGov position. Do you remember the GoGov position?
I wasn't listening at all to what Dave said.
Oh, he's asking what this note is, which is the difference in field. It's when you approved the GoGov position.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't remember us approving a position.
Yes, an additional position.
Additional staff member.
Additional staff, we talked about what would that staff member look like. It was to be administrative, which would be focused on GoGov, because at that moment it was said by all of you that you thought that GoGov would take a full-time person, and it does, but that's what that's from. That's the
That's
additional cost.
$120,000.
It's not that much.
Nope, it is.
No, I'm not saying to you, but the position was only a $55,000 position and then burn rate, so.
40%.
13,000 a month.
Yeah, let me look.
Awesome job.
I was gonna say.
What? Yeah,
Most jobs are,
yeah, the
one,
burn
like
rate,
where I work, you get $100,000, you're looking at close to 200 after.
it's usually double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's 55, so I would think about 110, but let me confirm that, Dave, and I can have Carrie send you all a note to
That'd be good.
show exactly that, but that is what it's from, is the position that you all approved.
I'll send you a note that I'm stepping down from district manager and I'm taking the.
Too late now.
Yep. So I'll put a note to send the board once I confirm, but I know that that's what it's from, but I want to confirm for you, and I'll get you the exact amount.
We shouldn't have to change the title. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's like 200.
Plus the budget is.
No, right, good.
Okay.
Yes, because we did it mid-year. So we did go over budget in that one. And then, but I'll send a whole recap to
Yeah,
Carrie that he can send out to you all.
Right.
That will explain it.
Anything else? Capture, okay. Watch, that's important. So who had the motion to approve the agenda, consent agenda?
Jack.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, supervisor requests. Greg, I'll start with you because you're on that end. Come on, with him.
Why is only him first?
Jesus, what is this?
I'm deferring to Jack.
Oh my God.
Agent,
What
thank
are
you.
you-
You better look at that mirror. I got a question. For some reason, I got a CDD workshop on January 13th. Is that not in there or something?
The 20th.
It's moved to the 20th.
No. We gave them 2 dates, the 13th or the 20th. They committed to the 20th. The county, yes, on signs. We sent them the whole list that you all wanted, signs, painting, curb painting, all of that.
Okay, can you send out a invite or something? I don't have that on my.
Yeah.
Yes, they just confirmed. I updated you guys when I sent out because
Well, I like.
they were like, wait a minute, this is on Zoom at noon. And we're like, no, this is in person at 5. So we will be sending out an invite for that meeting, but it is January 20th, 5 o'clock here in this room.
Is it okay if I go to Greg?
Meeting or workshop?
Go to, no, I'm going.
It's a meeting.
I'm gonna go to Dave first.
Looks good.
Chairman, who's next?
I have nothing to say after this. Greg, go ahead.
Why, I'm sorry, I apologize. Why we're on this about, because they just asked if that's a meeting or a workshop. A while ago, this board decided to make all things meetings, no workshops.
So you vote.
Is that gonna hold true for budget workshops? Do you want those advertised as meetings or workshops? Because there's a difference. You can't go versus you
Tell me
can't.
why it's a problem and I'll consider it. I just think everything should be meeting.
No, there is no problem either way, but there is a difference in how you can conduct it. That's all.
Meeting.
Meeting, okay, so we won't do any more workshops, they will do meetings, so the budget workshops that we have scheduled will make them meetings.
So did you say Tuesday, January 20th at 5?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do we need to do any preparation for that meeting? Sorry, I'm not a supervisor.
They want a list of
Do we want-
signs
don't we need-
sent to them.
Yeah, don't we need Dave sign pictures and locations sent
Oh.
to them?
Okay.
It would be beneficial, so they see what we're talking about instead of showing up here and just seeing them. They didn't physically say, send us the list, but I would prefer to send them that.
Oh, I could do that.
The initial contact I had with them, they asked for a list.
Yeah.
Or an inventory.
And maybe a list in sort of agenda. Break down about some of these.
Yeah, the agenda, we got that, everything you all asked for, but it would be beneficial to be able for them to see the signs before they show up here.
Angel, you mentioned budget workshop or budget meeting.
Mhm.
Is that separate for the regular meeting? Is it February?
Yes, so separate.
February 10th, is that right?
Mhm. I gotta look at the list, Jack, but yes, if it's on your calendar, it's probably accurate.
It's not on my calendar.
It's not on his calendar.
We didn't make the date. That's why it's.
That works too.
I can tell you.
Just making sure it's on the calendar.
Job responsibilities, Carrie.
Not as the go-go manager.
Yeah,
I've got March 10th. I don't have a February.
I'm gonna pull up the meeting schedule and give it to you all again, make sure everybody's calendar is up to date, and I'll also send out invites.
Yeah, invites are, that's what I would love.
Same. In an ideal world, moving forward, you'll have, once we approve this next budget cycle and you approve your annual meeting schedule, you're gonna get your whole year's meeting tonight. For the year. Sorry. Yeah.
So the quiet word out loud there.
All right.
CDD. Okay, let me look at your. Annual meeting schedule. Real quick.
Who's the supervisor who's requesting it?
Nobody requesting it, but she said that.
Oh, you can keep talking. I'm just gonna pull up your
Oh,
annual
okay.
meeting schedule to tell you the dates.
I was, you know,
Sorry.
Greg, please say something. No, we're going with you. Just start. You got
You just wanted to hear me say that.
No, I was just going down.
Give it to pass the cookies around.
Please.
Whoever's talking gets a cookie.
Shell, do you have anything?
I'm good.
Okay, Dave,
Two things.
yes.
One is what's the status of that annual report we're supposed to do?
Annual report gets posted. You all already approved it.
And then we did, I think it was supposed to be.
No, we approved it earlier in the year. And it has to get posted and make sure that we've done everything, which I'll send it to all of you. It's holding the annual meetings. We've kept the records, all of those things, but we don't have to bring it before for approval
Let's
again.
Put it on the January.
For
agenda
ratification?
to ratify.
Okay.
We usually try.
That's
to
fine.
Get a formal, okay?
Yeah,
So I thought there
the
was-
goals and objectives haven't changed at all, but we
When
have
is-
to have it posted on your website by December
Yes.
31st.
Yeah.
By December
Yeah, December
31st.
first.
We talked
Yeah.
about being.
No, wait, hold on, two different things. You said the 31st, you said the first.
Yeah.
No, it's by the end of December, isn't it?
I've got the statute that says the first.
Let me look. Either way, I can post it today, right now, when I go in here. But you all already approved your goals and objectives, and now it has to be posted on the website.
No, I understand, but I think Dave's point is for
There's a deadline.
for the deadline for the state, it should be on the website on December 1st. Am I correct?
That's my interpretation.
Okay,
Yeah. The end of December.
I think we missed that.
December
Yeah.
3rd.
Slap your
It
wrist.
should be on the agenda. December 1st.
December 1st.
Report showing you achieved goals.
So we'll put it on there for ratification.
Yes.
Okay. So we will get that on there right now. Send it to Jeff. You're in, oh, go ahead.
No, and I know that said we just discussed this not having writing, so I just gonna ask about the ECDD and if there's any update. What's going on there?
On what?
So ECDD.
It's gonna be on the January agenda. Jan just revised the interlocal agreement.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, and there is more. ECDD asked for Tom Tuzen, the chairman, to come to the January meeting and explain what projects would be, what we would be using the funds for, which are gonna match the interlocals, which is only sidewalks on and light pole, boardwalk,
Boardwalks, on slopes, sidewalks.
sidewalks.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
those two things.
So essentially,
There could be like a fourth of little thing, but it's all maintenance based.
Yes.
It's all maintenance based.
What we do
yeah,
is on
it's-
the 20th, each month, we provide them with like reports. They ask to see the boardwalk evaluation, they want to see March Pond evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we had for inventory for sidewalks for Central Village.
Yeah, so what Tom would go in January is basically say, we have X amount of sidewalk work that we want to get done, we have X amount of pond work. And that's it. Again, the interlocal, the money can't be used for anything other than what's in the interlocal, which is sidewalks, ponds, and I think boardwalks. I don't know that boardwalks is in there. I gotta look. Yeah, but ponds and sidewalks for sure.
Not necessarily matters because.
Yeah, but it can't be used for
It's
anything.
enough to cover it.
Right. It's not gonna cover it, but
What day is that meeting?
the first Wednesday
January
at 10,
3rd, I think.
at 10:30.
Yeah, it's at 10:30. I'll make sure you're on the invite.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, what day is it?
the
January.
first Wednesday, which is
The seventh.
January 7th,
I just don't block it out.
January 7th. So that was the request.
Are we allowed to all sit in the meeting and just stare quietly?
Yeah. It's a public meeting, actually.
What time is that at?
10:30.
Ask for reduced water rates while you're at it.
Yeah.
Hand it out.
Three houses on North Cherry Beach. What street is, that's the challenge.
Let's see.
Okay.
Resolutions. Okay, so if y'all want to get out your calendars, make sure everybody's good on the dates. Year 26 is.
I get a hand cramp in a moment.
I don't know, these things are strange.
Kids just close.
Yeah, we've been there 3.5 hours.
Yeah, me too.
Tacos.
Tacos are good.
Tacos now? We're at tacos now.
She purchased
Tacos. Margaritas go with tacos.
What am I missing over here?
So meetings don't suck so much.
Well.
Meeting schedule, okay. So the ones that we talked about when we approved the budget. For
You send the list.
26, what?
Where did you send them?
You're not gonna do the whole year, I just want February.
Yeah, I'll
I
just,
thought we already approved the whole.
We did.
you did, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Except none of us had February 10th down as a
Well,
meeting
that's
date.
an
Yeah, so the dates are for 26, January 27th is your meeting, February 24th is your meeting, March 10th is a budget workshop. It'll be a budget meeting.
It's on my.
Okay, that's on the
Yeah,
calendar.
it's on my calendar.
It's the-
April 14th is a budget meeting.
Yeah.
May 12th.
No,
is
wait a
a-
minute. I have April 28th as a regular board meeting as well.
Yes, that is correct.
She's just going to.
I'm just doing the work.
Oh, just, okay, all right.
So you got March 10th, April 14th, May 12th. And then approval at your May 26th regular meeting, and then your budget hearing on July 28th.
So no meeting in February?
Right, you're.
Yes, February 24th.
Yeah, no, you earlier today, the first shot of the budget.
Yes,
was February.
I thought we were doing February
So
first,
you
but I
don't
was
have a
wrong.
February 10th.
It's March.
That's what I'm getting at.
It's March 10th.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh, so there's nothing on February 10th?
No,
no,
doesn't exist.
nope,
And the
March
date,
10th.
and the date is board meeting.
24th.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
The date exists here. It's not-
So the very important dates, obviously the workshop would be great for everybody's input, but
The
the
meeting.
important dates that I have to have forum for are May 26th and July 28th. Because Osceola County has a hard deadline and they are not like forgiving about it.
They work slow except for that.
That's right. Like they want it in by, I think it's August 14th or 15th, something like that.
It's earlier than the next then.
Yeah, so that's why we approve y'all's in July. But July 28th and May 26th have to have, and that's it.
Ask Gary, gives comment.
Here, do you have a comment?
Sure.
Okay.
That was the audience.
Motion to adjourn?
So move.
So moved. Okay.
You didn't have shelf, yeah.
He did. Yell it.
This time. The chair. You're so long.
Think of you all in slopes.
I learned it.
So we'll ratify it.
Minutes for coffee booths.
I'll get it
No.
posted. I'll get it.
It gets rolling over. I predicted 2.5 to 3 hours, pretty good.
You said.
Close. I didn't, well, I didn't think it would take that long.
You did say 2.5.
What? It's,
Thank you.
I didn't have your agenda.
But you did cover anything about something